All right, let's get this cursed episode on the road already.
This is
Jesus
this is a highly
Christ.
cursed episode.
I'm once
Uh,
again I'm once again reminded of when the process was just a series of texts and it was like, "All right,
oh
yeah,
yeah,
we'll record on Friday morning, whatever."
yeah,
You know.
whatever. And then we gotta
But
but
now,
and then Twitch breaks, and it's like, well, do we
yeah.
do it or do we do it live or do we not do it live or oh my god,
Well, the difficulty of like ushering people to their seats before we start talking and doing this
everyone?
shit
This
is that like when do you start ushering them to their seats, you know? It was
yeah.
kind of simple to just start talking at some point and then click a button and then that was that. So, um,
Hey, by
yeah,
the way, if you are watching this live and or tomorrow, which would be the 29th of September, and you live anywhere near the Florida area, if you see like wind and or rain, seriously consider going in the opposite direction of the wind and
yes,
or rain.
yes, no. Definitely have already spoken to some people that are in that area that have like pieced the fuck out because no, don't chance that. That's not. Yeah, get out of that. Although, like, yes, they're probably sharing evacuation warnings where necessary and such. But I don't think it's related. They're saying it's not, but either way, what we're talking about is that so there was some delay based on like me traveling, and then there was some delay based on other stuff coming up. But then there's just the idea of like, well, also this morning, Twitch is having server outages, and we couldn't connect. But it seems like they just started working, maybe as soon as we were about to go live.
Wooly,
Uh,
the Waffle Houses are closed.
I'm expecting at any point this might go down though, because they still
Oh yeah,
on
I'm
support
super expecting that.
on the support account it still says that it's like, we're having problems, so this might not be super stable. But either way, whatever. There's always the possibility where we can just do it live, not live, do it old school, and just upload the offline recording later, which is fine. It's what a podcast used
I
to
think
be.
I think my favorite thing in the world is the dog. While you're doing that, we're trying to be quiet while managing the things in the background. And every time Paige has thrown a specific dog toy, it has bounced off of four pieces of furniture to land somewhere it's not supposed to be, which I will now have to go and retrieve for the boy. And we're just like, no, shh, shh. We're texting each other for quietness, and then the instant the item is introduced into the setting, boop beep bap behind the couch. Now he's going nuts. Excuse me, everyone.
Well,
If you're underwater, please stop being underwater. But I have to go get a dog toy. Excuse me.
if the toy lands in an awful corner behind a chair somewhere, is he gonna like try to squeeze himself into that space? No,
Yes,
not
yes,
completely.
he is. He will.
Okay.
He will attempt to do that, and then he will get stuck, and then he will start to freak out
Okay. Okay.
because he's very smart,
Look at that.
extremely smart,
I,
intelligent.
I can see the long division, the math, and the calculus floating out of his head right now.
You know, my favorite thing is when you have a big old dog toy and you have a dumb dog like this, is that you hold it up and the dog's like quivering with anticipation, and then you drop it and it just bounces straight off their fucking face, and then they go "R"
Yeah,
to try
yeah,
and catch
yeah.
it afterwards.
The one thing it's not just you had one job. It's like you had one desire in life. You had one thought in your entire brain, and you still failed it.
So part of the
Yeah.
reason it's like with him anyway is like dogs have like remarkably bad eyesight compared to us. So it's not super clear that the item is coming at them until it hits them.
Which makes no sense considering the like hunting prowess that you
No,
know.
smell-o-vision, man.
Yeah,
Smell-o-vision. It's powerful. It's three-dimensional eyesight.
right, right, right.
Hey, so aside from pushing your week around like a Scrabble board, what's been up with you, man? I
Oh,
heard I heard of some wins and losses.
yeah, man. So, I guess well, before the event, I suppose I beat Silent Hill 3, and I liked that game a
Hey, that's
lot.
a good game.
That was a good game. That was not just a good game. That was a pretty successful sequel to a thing. Um, it was also like, I don't know how it was received at the time, but it's definitely a game that is gate kept by the first game. That is to say, if you did not play the first game and you went into 3 on the hype of a new release back in when it first came out, you got shafted
So
pretty hard.
I I can give you in detail the what I'm going to call the reception nightmare that is oh my god, dude. Really?
Yeah. No, just part skippers got fucked
The reception
on this thing.
nightmare that is the Silent Hill like series. One comes out, wow, amazing, horror. Two comes out, it's initially regarded as big disappointment. I don't know if you were aware back in 2001, but it was
Interesting.
initially regarded as huge disappointment because it's not as scary as the first one. It's a
Yeah,
million times more thoughtful
but it's
and it's way better put together,
It's a
but
better
it's not
game.
as scary.
Okay, yeah, just it wasn't ready. People weren't ready for what they were getting. Okay, all right.
But then everyone starts to appreciate it, and then 3 comes out, and 3 is kind of being built in response to complaints about 2 for it not being scary enough. So you have like Silent Hill 1, chain and blood and gore and violence, right? And
Mm-hmm.
then 2 is decay and sheets and metaphor, right? Like there's a
Well,
lot less
just
chain and gore in 2.
yeah, no, it's like just depression and demise
Yeah,
and darkness. Like
right.
yeah,
And then 3 comes back, and 3 is like, this guy is a spinning blade idiot, and there's dick monsters, and everything's back to chain and blood again.
yeah. And so I'm also kind of, besides the dick monsters, I'm looking at everything and I'm trying to be like, so what part of her psyche is this tapping into? And it's like, nah, don't worry about it.
And so 1 is tapping into the psyche of Alessa, 2 is tapping into James, and 3 is tapping into Alessa slash Cheryl, alternatingly. But like 3 is a lot more overt. It's a lot less symbolic. There's tons of symbolic shit all over the place, but it's like, no, there's a bad cult, and they want to do bad cult shit, and you got to go stop them. And the 2 to 3 reception like shenanigans based on who
Mm-hmm.
preferred what
Mm-hmm.
leads to arguing about what Silent Hill games are
Should be.
really the good Silent Hill
Yeah,
games
okay,
and what
okay.
is Silent Hill
It's
really
a,
about.
I mean, it's a little bit of Alien versus Aliens.
Absolutely, that's exactly what it is. So you get okay, Silent Hill Origins, well that one's about the cult. And Silent Hill Homecoming, well that one's about the cult, but it's also about the psyche. And then Silent Hill Downpour, that one's it has no cult and only
Mm-hmm.
psyche, and it's just
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and it's
Well, I mean, I can strongly say that I much prefer the psyche elements to the cult
yeah,
elements.
so do I personally.
They're a little less, predictable in that regard. But
No,
uh,
well, that is you haven't played Silent Hill 4 yet, which may damage your view of the Silent Hill Psyche series, I
okay,
guess.
okay, um,
Because the biggest problem with like the 2 focuses is that
hmm
Silent Hill 2 is like, what if it was a personal introspective
yeah,
story?
yeah,
And then Downpour and The Room and Homecoming were all like, what if we were also an introspective story that wasn't nearly as good as Silent Hill 2?
okay, yeah,
What
a
if we
bad
did that, but
psyche
it was just
story.
way worse?
Right, a bad one. Yeah, I can see that. I mean, I remember early on when since Shattered Memories was like my first experience with it, I was really impressed by like going through it and then catching the explanation for what each thing you encountered was, what it meant and why,
Hmm.
right? So,
Yeah.
um that was always way more interesting to me than sort of a protagonist that finds himself as a fish out of water in a hostile setting, you know? Um, so in any case, though, this one is definitely filled up with like the like big passing of the torch energy. Um, you know, one of the, as I mentioned before, only successful instances. Well, like, spoilers for Silent Hill 3, but one of the
Game
only
came out in 2003, but
sure
okay.
did. One of the only successful instances I can think of like killing a main character off screen, and it's like, oh, that's fine. No, that worked.
That's exactly the way it should have been. It
Yeah.
should not have been a bombastic, oh, I'm fighting the monster thing.
And when it comes to like expectations of like how you're going to close things off, it's like it's efficiently creepy. All the support characters are just unsettling enough and dubious enough to have you like, I don't know what your deal is, and you're speaking in the weird way. So that's also a definitive trait of the series at this point. But that ending letter in 2 is such a fucking high bar that it
Oh, it's
feels
a punch. Yeah.
unfair to even expect that of any other game I'm going into play. So I'm not looking for that moment in any of the games. You know, like after that, I'm like,
You're not going to get it.
exactly, right. So what I am looking for is just something really good, just something solid about the conclusion of the story, and I felt like I got that, and it was real simple, but it was that one moment after she fucking kills God, and she's like, is that it? Is that enough? Anyone else want some? Whatever. And then is like just exhausted and is just walking away, and then like that little like bravado moment just slips away, and she just crumples and goes, oh, dad, oh, fuck, like just has a real moment of like, and now it comes crashing in, and you just get to like, it knocks you off your feet kind of, and then
Now that the shock has passed, now that the
yes,
dissociation that is required to combat the issue is past, all of your bad emotions are going to
everything that you put on the back shelf, and for like you stuffed it away in order to deal with the threat, and now that the threat's dealt with, it comes crashing down, and it's just a quick little just fuck, and I felt that really strongly, and then she gets back up and then keeps going, and I'm like, damn, that was excellent. I really like that moment for her.
I think
one of the best release.
I think Silent Hill 3 has the best, how do I call this? It's not a systems Easter egg. It has one of the best use of its prequels interface. So James had red squares as save points, right? Blood red squares as save points.
Yeah.
So you walk into a bathroom in Silent Hill 3 and you see a big glowing seal of the Metatron that you might recognize from 1 or one of the others. Like, okay, well, that's a save point, right? So we're going to be using these as save points. And you go through the whole game doing that until you get to the amusement park, at which point it's reminded of you, particularly if you played Silent Hill 1, that save points in Silent Hill 1 were not red squares and they were not cult symbols, they were notepads.
Yes.
And as such, because you're retreading a nightmare variation of an old area, you can find that Harry was actually writing things on those notepads.
Yes.
And you get to have the tiniest little window of context that just goes back in through its save point from one.
And you read what he was writing. Yeah, that was cool. That was pretty solid. Then there's a couple of moments too. Like, there are some rooms where like the lighting and the color, just everything just works at full fucking like all cylinders going, and it like that room, the belfry is just, it's so gorgeous by today's standards. Even it looks so good compared to anything else, and you're like, okay, like this is also kind of showing you it's being faithful. It's kind of going like, here's Silent Hill as you know it, here's the foggy town, here's these environments, here's the hospital again. But there's a couple of moments of just like, damn, this thing looks really good still, that mirror room, man.
Yeah, like I'm just thinking about the mirror room, and it's like, first of all, reflections are hard. You know that. People who've
Mm-hmm.
worked in games know that. People who played a lot of games know that mirrors are hard. But
Mm-hmm.
what if
Mm-hmm.
you use the fact that mirrors are hard to uh, have the best scare room
Yeah.
in almost any survival horror game, and then when you go to leave, you find out that they've invented a new type of texture that
Mm-hmm.
only works on the PlayStation 2, by the way, so that
It
the walls can fucking bleed.
blur wall texture on blur where you can't quite tell where the wall ends, because if they just dropped a spooky meat texture on existing geometry, that's gonna look like shit. That ain't gonna work.
Yeah.
But it's the fact that the edges soften on everything that's not you, and you're now walking in a dreamscape, and it really works.
It
Like,
can't be overstated just how unbelievable it was to be playing Silent Hill 3 upon its release on a PlayStation 2,
mm-hmm.
and just how much way better it's better looking than almost anything else on that place on that console.
Mm-hmm.
And it was the best looking characters for like 10 years after that.
It's interesting that it's a response to the way people felt about 2 as well, because like one of the big things being that like the ending is a standardized ending you're only going to get the first time each time, right? And then after that the variations come into play. That's an interesting choice. I
Yeah, the game also has like a million costumes and like super weapons
I saw
because
some.
there's no variability in your path through the game. They're like, well, let's give them a reason to replay it by giving you the super gun and the laser and
You
the
could
what have you.
you could almost feel where there could have been multiple, like when you walk up to Douglas and it's just like to trigger a cutscene that's like, I'm just checking up on you, and he's like, still alive, I'm still here, and it's almost like, oh yeah, like that's meant to be a little variation, and of course later on it can
Mhm.
be. But when it comes to giving you a default ending up front, it's like, it's interesting that it's like avoiding you having a feeling of that stuff I was talking about where I'm like, 2 is silly with the whole how often do you stare at the portrait, how often do you overheal, right?
Yeah.
Like, those are bad metrics for what ending you should get. But a good metric for what ending you should get is like an in-game decision about like how to handle a character, or using an item, a special item in a special place, right? That makes sense. It's like that's a direct action that is affecting the sequence of events, and it's not just a like passive like weird mechanic that you didn't intuit. So
Yeah.
they didn't have to do it like, okay, no choices at first, and then later on you do get them. They could have just kept it to like, actions you do in terms of like interacting in the world, or using the right item at the right time, as opposed to like the little background things. But still,
So
I get it.
4 um 4 goes right back to the insanity of um gameplay metric
Did you look
ending
at the map
requirements.
for over 20 minutes?
It's it's two main things. One is, what events did you go ahead and do? Like, did you do this? Did you do that? Did
Mhm.
you find this? Did you talk to this person? That kind of thing. The other is based off of the long-term total health lost of your escort character.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Is
Um
just
Now there's
oh
there's a real solid one in this where like it's like, okay, how much damage do you take? How much do you kill? Right? Those are all points you can earn to affect your ending.
yeah.
But there's a real good one, which is you walk into that confessional and you listen. And that
Yeah.
is a great moment, because you're like, wait, who is this person? Do we know this person? It's like, could be, but it sounds like a random cultist resident
Yep.
of this town that feels awful about what they're doing and just wants a little bit of absolution.
Hmm.
And you get to sit there and choose if you give that, you know? That's a great one because it's like, do you feel sorry for this person who regrets these bad actions? Or what do you do? Do you say nothing or do you say I forgive you, you know? And that is like, I'm like, fuck that, because that's not, you're still like, you're not saying this to the victim. You're saying this to a fucking father. Probably Vincent is who you're aiming it at, really, in a cloister, and you're hoping for your own guilt to go away. Meanwhile, the person you're inflicting this on is still suffering out there. Fuck you. You don't get that absolution, you know? And so you say no, and then I go and I was looking at the ending metrics, and it's like, if you say yes, that's 1,000 points towards the dark side, you know? So, like, that shoots you right onto the, like, Lost Heather ending. And it's like, yep, that makes perfect sense. I like that. I like a decision like that, you know?
Yeah, no, that game's great. It's 1, 2, and 3. Everyone's like, wow, those are absolutely incredible. 4 is so weird that some people love it, some people hate it, but it's still got its charm. And then after that, they're all.
Yeah, I can see that. You know, like Reggie and I have been jokingly calling it the trilogy, but you know,
Oh, it absolutely is. And I mean, the events of 1 and 3 are directly related.
There's definitely like you know, a couple of, there's some things with 4 that I've heard and I'm like, and I've seen them like, oh yeah, and a couple of people have been like, it's play 4, you coward, whatever, and it's like, yeah, maybe not, I don't know, we'll see.
Is that it has tons and tons of cool shit in it. Silent Hill 4 has tons of really, really fascinating, interesting shit. It also has some of the worst mechanical decisions I've ever seen in a series. Like like, you've played through 1, 2, and 3, so now this will hit you. In Silent Hill 4, you have a maximum number of inventory slots, and ammo doesn't stack.
Jesus, that sucks. Oh, that's even worse. Oh man, wow. Okay, yeah, that's frustrating.
Like,
I mean, I had a weird experience playing this one because the big complaint over the way I've played has been that, like, I just melee everything and I don't use my bullets, and then I'm just like walking around like clunking through Silent Hill with tons of fucking ammo, Vulcan Ravening these streets. So I kind of was like, okay, well, my preference is certainly to melee, and it doesn't help that they gave me a samurai sword to fuck around with this time.
And but it's a good melee weapon.
It's fantastic.
By survival horror standards, it's really incredible.
Fun. So that's my preference, and that's the way I go about it, especially knowing how limited bullets are. But because, whatever, playing the LP and doing the things, I'm like, all right, let me just spend the gun more often. Let me just use the things I have, as opposed to hitting the credits and, like, never using it, right? So I do that at the Shadow Heather boss, and then right around that time, too, I'm like, okay, it seems like things are coming to a close. So I pretty much just mag dump into Shadow Heather. And then, like, that entire sequence right afterwards is like, not only is this not about to come to a close yet, you've got quite a bit to go, but you're not going to get a re-up on that ammo. And I kind of had a moment where we had a fucked save, because it just introduces the fastest enemy in the game now at right after that sequence that, like, is pretty much, like, kind of one-shotting you. With the and I, you know, I'm running out of health items, and I'm like, oh, okay. So in one moment, I can see the exact, like, thing that could have been happening throughout my journey through all these games by just, like, again, like, using all the bullets or whatever. Here we are. Possibly a fuck save.
Imagine you're 11 years old, and this is the lesson that you've been taught by 1, 2, and 3, and Resident Evil 1 and 2. And imagine replaying those games and creating situations where you don't shoot a single goddamn thing for like 4 hours, and then you get to the last level and you are just an action movie.
Right, yeah, exactly.
And you have now gotten into it enough that you can see the straight line from these older styles to it's my favorite thing in Resident Evil 2. At the end of the of my Leon campaign, when I was fighting Mr. X, I had so much ammo that I couldn't put it in my inventory. I
Mm-hmm.
had so much
Mm-hmm.
ammunition that I had to leave like hundreds of rounds in the box, and I was like having a panic attack as to whether or not I would have enough ammunition for the final boss,
Right, right. Yeah.
because it feeds it to you. And if you make the reasonable mistake at the wrong time, it hits you. It hits you real hard.
So my instincts were fully 100% correct in this regard. And what ended up happening is like after, getting to that final boss and like using just about everything, it comes down to the most like just AI breaking, like playing footsies with the devil and using the
Yeah.
sword, and learning the exact sequence and doing it. And it was pretty hype, all things considered. But it was clearly meant to be a like open up all the fucking just reload and fire from
Yeah.
full screen and just like dump into this thing,
Mm.
gunslinger. Um, and I did it the like again possibly on a bad save way, which is just be more flawless and it'll be okay, type of thing. But yeah, all things considered, though, I'm like, okay, if I'm definitely down to look at this again. Maybe not immediately, but if I come back to this, I know that like my instincts to play that melee game, learn the footsies, learn the melee swings, hit that dog out of mid jump. That's it. That's what this game is. That's probably optimal.
So the biggest thing, because at that time you had games that were like Resident Evil and games that were like Silent Hill, and Silent Hill 1, Silent Hill 2 and 3, not 1, um, are fairly easily clearable with their excellent melee weapons. 1 has like certain versions of the final boss like fly,
Mm-hmm.
and it's
Mm-hmm.
just it's not going to happen.
But you got the Mason
Um,
backstep, baby. You got the Mason
right,
backstep. It's too good.
but um but like, thank God, because in Resident Evil, in the older ones anyway, and the games that were like it, if you ran low on ammunitions, your response was to just fucking die because you didn't have any melee option that would actually hurt anything.
Mm.
um Code Veronica is like, in terms of fucking up your save file, Code Veronica is the worst game I have ever played. It has 3 spots where it's incredibly easy to just soft lock yourself. There's a boss fight you can save at before the boss fight, but you don't have access to your items. So you can end up just being locked in with like not enough to kill the boss or barely enough to kill the boss.
Jeez.
But
Yeah.
worse than that is that you switch between Claire to Chris, and then Chris to Claire again for about half an hour, and then back to Chris to finish the game. But only items in the box carry over to the other character, but you don't know and have no ability to choose when you switch. It's just pour the next item. So you don't know, playing as Claire, that you would any item you
Yeah.
have on your
Yeah.
person
Yeah.
is not going to be able to transfer
Yeah.
over to fucking
Yeah.
Chris,
Yeah.
and vice versa. And then you play as Claire for like an hour, and you can go, oh, cool, I'm playing as Claire for a while. I'll load up with healing items. And then you switch off, and
And
all
it's
those items get
gone.
trapped on you.
Yep. The Odin Sphere problem. That's the end of Odin Sphere original as well. They probably think they're creating tension by making it like, oh fuck you, now you got to adapt, but it's just like, no, but this is less fun though. This sucks. Yeah. That sounds really frustrating. Um, and then it's like, okay, well, load an older save, do it better this time. I guess is the actual intended
Yeah, no.
action there.
So, Tips and Tricks magazine in the 1990 February 1998 issue that had the Resident Evil 2 guide had a piece of advice in it, that was like ideal for playing the game, terrible for streaming it, which was make a clean, safe save game. Then go and fuck around, shoot everything, open up everything, explore every room, don't give a shit. Then reload your save. Now you know where all the items are. Now you know what rooms are important and what rooms you need to kill enemies in.
This was a tip that was
Yes.
given. That is
And
horrible.
most importantly, rotate your saves, because keeping a single save file in a Resident Evil, Silent Hill, whatever, is a good way to end up with no ammunition.
Okay, so in other words, play the game, and then when you play it a second time, now you'll know what to do. There you go. That's our big tip. Like, yeah, sure. Rotating, of course, yes. This is, in fact,
Yeah.
it would be nice if a game were to tell you, or even like automatically, just like, hey, we'll be rotating for you. Don't worry about it. But yeah, good game, good game. That was dope. And
I like
once
that game a
again,
lot.
the music is like very unique and very solid. Just that little
So, what's really
right before it
strange
starts up is very unique.
is that Silent Hill music is extremely unique and extremely solid, but the one thing that all the games, even the ones not made by the same developers, kept in common was the same style of music. And so, like, it has a vocal track that's like folksy rock by Mary Elizabeth McGlynn. It has a sad vocal track by Mary Elizabeth McGlynn, and it has like 6 different kinds of industrial fucking grunge nightmare shit. Because Yamaoka did all of the music except for Downpour. So
Uh,
like it ends up in this weird situation where it's really unique, but then there are like 9 games that have this exact musical style, and so it's
right,
not
right,
actually
right,
that unique
right.
anymore.
One of the best tracks was only used on the walk up to the final room, which is just like Mongolian throat singing
Mm-hmm.
for a hallway and a half, and I'm like, God damn it, that's a really good track to just use right there, but only for a little bit, you know? Yeah. Um. But anyway, so that was the journey through SH3,
Love that game. That's a good game.
and parts are coming. As we go. Then yes, I went out to ComboCon 2022 in Michigan. So yeah, Reggie came out down there as well. Then Kenny and I Patch Wolf, and we had a good time. There was a whole lot of so I brought my kites in the hopes that, like, because it's a windy area, I was hoping for like an opportunity to do some of that. There's like windmills all around, but unfortunately just didn't have the time for it. Um, Brought some boxing gloves as well, because last time that I was down there, Hunter, the organizer, shout outs, had the gym that we could like spar in and stuff. Didn't get the chance to
Mm-hmm.
do that either. It ended up just being like a full venue weekend. But yeah, we had a good time. It was kind of very different energy from last time. It was the last times it was set up in like a VFW, which was kind of it's a like a Veterans Association building, and had a
Oh,
very
weird.
so that's where they, because it's a fundraiser for vets, right? That's what the events are
Mm-hmm.
for, and that's originally where they were held, and it's kind of like a bit of almost like a church basement tournament kind of vibe to that. It was
Mm-hmm.
cool.
Mm-hmm.
And then this time around, it was in a nightclub. So, like, the energy difference was quite staggering with neon lights and cages and
Yeah, because I saw some
bars.
footage from it, and I'm like, that doesn't look like a Veterans
That is not a
Association.
veterans association at all. That is there is straight up like stages with cages for dancing. And no, I didn't see a stripper pole, but definitely like a VIP back section and like the place where
Mm-hmm.
you'd go and there'd be bottle service type things. I'm like, okay, that's a vibe change. But it was super sick. No, it was really fun. Um, and yeah, so there were a couple tournaments all weekend. Definitely, some of the highlights have popped up throughout the stream on Matchstick Melee. One of which, for sure, was me and Reggie making it to grand finals in Marvel 3.
Mm-hmm.
Reggie taking the set and popping off.
I did not know that Reggie knew how to play Marvel 3.
Oh, well, I mean, like, we we all know how to play in the same way that, like, going to weeklies, we would just
Right.
learn, mess around and enter, stuff. And yeah, he played a bit when that came out. I mean, I'd say Reggie knows how to play a little bit of like everything recent that's come out. Like we touch everything a little bit, like you go to a when locals are going on and people are like, oh yeah, this just dropped, and you see some people playing it. You're like, oh yeah, let's fuck around, let's learn a character. The goal is to basically be like, because here's the thing, you're going to be in a situation where no matter what, at some point in the future, someone might ask you to come play some game that you've never played before.
Right.
And even if you never ever do touch this thing again, you have to know at least one character, right? You got to know at least one person. You got to know at least something. I don't touch Under Night in Birth very often, if ever, but if I do, I kind of know a thing or two about Merkava, just in case.
Yeah.
It's important to have at least one. So yeah, we did the grand final set. Reggie got his pop off. He threw a chair.
His deserved pop off.
It was a pretty good moment. And the whole time I'm just like, God damn it. Okay, so there's a bit that is one of the strongest bits in the world. So shout out to Giuna, Anime Illuminati. He won the Southeast Asian majors Persona 4 Ultimax tournament, and there's some shorts that you get as the grand finalist, right? And
shorts?
It's a pair of like Muay Thai shorts. And
that's just silly.
And you get to rock the shorts and be like, "Hey, I'm an authority on fighting games. Look at the shorts, bro." Right? Mm-hmm. And there's like photoshops of like the like the Giga Chad, but he's got the shorts on and it's just like a silhouette, and it's like, oh shit, he's coming, So it's such a, so I'm like yeah, like the ability to just like take home a trophy and be like, hey man, I'm the ComboCon 2022 Marvel champion. You can't argue with me. I got the trophy to back it up. And that motherfucker stole my bit. He stole the bit. He knew I wanted it. So it doesn't have the same. Well, it doesn't have the same ring to it when I hold up my top 3 finalist token. It doesn't have the same authority.
So let me ask you. You went down there and Reggie beat you in Marvel. But yeah. I remember you discussing you going down there originally so that you could beat Kenny at some kind of...
That was a different event.
Test.
Yeah.
That's a different event?
There were multiple events. There were multiple... In fact, there were a ton of tournaments. There was but just about like every major game had a tournament, except for DNF fucking Duel, which god damn it,
solved.
Yeah, fuck that.
Just have robots do rock paper scissors on it now.
That was a huge bummer because I would have absolutely cleaned up that. But regardless, there was no DNF tournament. There was a rock paper scissors tournament even, which a clip of that went up with the power of my scissors in that set was pretty sick. What you're talking about is one of the events we did that weekend was...
I just want to stop you there for a second. I forgot to mention it, but a couple weeks ago, because I have no reason to talk about rock, paper, scissors, me and Paige, you ever get that shared brain experience where like, yeah, it's good. This is meant to be. Like, we're like, oh, we rock, paper, scissors for something. And we went like 14 times just tiesies.
That's sick. That's crazy.
Like, okay, good, excellent.
Damn. Yeah.
Perfect.
No, Punch Mom does not have a competitive bone in her body, so every time there's like a push for some sort of like, let's go, she's like, I'm like, eh.
That makes you the winner. I hope you feel proud.
Yeah, no. Like, even if it's just
I lost that rock, paper, scissors.
That's a pretty sick set. But all that to say, what you're thinking of was Wooly versus Kenny, Dreadment Day 2.
Okay.
Right.
How'd
So
it go?
we did the dreaded encounter the first time. This is the rematch, and the rematch, we both pick a game, and then there's a tiebreaker. So, yeah, we played Virtua Fighter 5,
Okay.
which Kenny took.
I did
And
not know Kenny was into VF. Good for him.
that's what I found out too. He
What did you
does
play?
he yells "Bitch, I'm wild" a whole lot during
All
the
right.
set, so you can
Okay.
figure that one out.
That is really excellent for a dread-based fighting game challenge.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That is A plus.
Very very solid. I mean, not to mention he's got he's got an Eddie Gordo in Tekken, of course. So like
Yeah.
the dreads continue. Then we played DNF Duel, and I showed him the good Lord's word. And then the third game was.
Hold on, before you continue, does Kenny, is he familiar with DNF at all?
I mean, he picked Crusader as well, and he did a
Okay.
couple combos that showed like, yeah, he did some combos. He did some
Because
stuff.
I feel like varying skill levels in that game just doesn't look like a video game. It
So,
looks like a training dummy.
but like it's similar. That's exactly it. Like he did like again. I think there's probably at least like a minimal warm up process to some degree or something. But he picked a Crusader as well and did some stuff. But it was almost like because like last time we played MK9. And then that which was his pick, and then we played Street Fighter 4, which was mine. So it's just gonna be what it is. But yeah, in DNF, I brought the good word of the Lord to the masses, and took that and did so convincingly. That's what it is. And then the tiebreaker was Hero Versus, which is not out yet, but it is a game that it's a mobile fighting game, and it is going to be on Steam as well. Which there was a
I remember this.
yeah, and so there's like it's the game that like there's the character art of me in it and as Kenny as well, and there's alternate skins. So I have a skin on top of the boxer character Rodriguez, and Kenny has a skin on top of the grappler slash army man. I forgot the character's name, but that was what it was. Now, if that was a little bit of a that was fast and loose because we were both sitting down touching it for the first time, playing as ourselves for the first time. Kind of just like what are we doing here? And my character was like full of Dudley style, like there's like a backswing blow, there's a like machine gun punch kind of thing,
Yeah.
and a shoryuken, which I couldn't figure out how to string things together properly. Kenny had a big zoning gun and a one button jumping air grab, and I was like,
One button.
well, because the moves are all like what there's like
I
three
know,
buttons for
but
three specials, but like yeah,
still,
on reaction to anything in the air, you press it,
different
protect
reality.
the skies. Crazy, it was crazy, and I quickly realized I was like, oh boy, okay, these kits might not necessarily be made even, because that fancy Dempsey rolling and Dudley moves only work if like you're not swinging back into a button, like ooh you fancy dodge out and then you come back in and then you're eating a fist or a gun. But I'm still managed to win at the end of the day, and
Congratulations.
secured the
I
victory
knew you would.
as the dreaded champion. To which I was awarded a sash, which is back over there. Which interestingly is it's got like a crown, and then there's a black and yellow trimming on it. Which Tobias and Boone would be proud, seeing as the right colors for Black Mortal Kombat characters are now incorporated into that sash. So
Oh man. You're wearing yellow right now, Wooly.
Yeah, because it's literally a ComboCon shirt. It's the Bullet Club ComboCon thing, you know.
You're
And
ready for MK.
yeah, and shoutouts too for the tag on the back.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, that was fun.
Did you get to pick your number?
I did.
Nice.
So that was a fun one. Other events included Wooly versus Fago, which will be also coming out soon on the channel.
I've never had Fago. How is it?
Well, we sat down and tried out what I want to say is maybe 12 different flavors of fucking Fago, dude.
That's pretty impressive.
Man, like, okay, I got a spit bucket ready just because you never know. And also, I have not ingested that much sugar in years. I ended up opting not to spit, just for the sake of like decency and stream.
Did you have the water to cleanse your palate with?
Eventually, water did come, so it wasn't there right away, but it did come. Fuck, dude, Fago is just. You know how they used to make soda back in the day, right?
I do.
You manually would squirt the high fructose corn syrup and then pour the fizzy water.
I had like a robot, like a instead of a juicer, it was like make your own soda at home fucking thing.
Yeah.
In the
or
90s.
The powders even, you know.
Yeah.
And in this case, it's just what if you put 5 too many squirts into the can and then drop the same amount of fizzy water. It is wild. And the thing is, when you look at like normal American soda, already has like I look at the back of a can and I simply
has too much.
It already has way more than our soda does, right?
Yeah, so the funniest thing is like I remember I had one of the monsters on camera, right, during Death Stranding, like a regular monster, and I struggled to swallow it. I'm the sugar king. I love that shit. Struggled. It was like it's revolting. Like the sugar-free ones are almost too sweet to drink. I don't know what the other thing they put in these things.
It's crazy. So you'd get like a can here that I would consider high would be like, they'd be like 40 grams, you know, and then you look at like a normal American soda and then it would be like 60, 65, and some of these fucking things were going up to 80.
Americans need more sugar.
Wild amounts, but we so basically ended up creating a tier list for everything, and I do have to say it was not all just backwash. There were some winners. There were some winners in there.
There always are.
Mm-hmm.
Well, not unless you're drinking the what was it? I'm trying to think like what the worst energy drink John Bomb ever had. I think it was the Blizzard Potion energy drink, the Mana Potion.
Oh wow,
that thing like apparently tastes like rotten.
I can tell you right now that like outside of this ranking event, I had one of the most disgusting things because part of while down there, I was like, you know what? I'm also gonna do a thing that I'm gonna do that I don't usually do is I'm gonna try to get to. I want to go to some places or have some food from places that I don't usually get a chance to try that are like American, just trash food staples. So got to a Red Lobster, got the cheddar biscuits, did the thing. You know, I'm like, yep, these are fucking excellent. These cheddar biscuits, they're good. Got to there was a Bennigan's. Unfortunately, didn't get to go to the Bennigan's, but I have heard about those. I want to know. Got to a what was the one? Went to Olive Garden, right? Ordered a bop and a boopy. Got the tour of Italy, and it's like, yep, that's about what I expected of the Olive Garden. The breadsticks, there's endless amounts. You eating the pasta, you're like, yep, there you go. That's fine. That'll do the thing. It's right what you expect. Ordered some fucking Arby's, and I have never had a more mid like sandwich in my life. It's the type like it went in and I kind of was just all I'm thinking about is all those Daily Show jokes over the years about like how fucking insane it was. And sure enough, someone who worked there, who worked at Arby's for a couple of years, was like, "Oh yeah, dude, you don't want to know about how we make those sandwiches." Like I was there for a couple of years. It ain't, you know, it's rough.
Wait, it's Arby's is like a ham sandwich. What could you do to it?
It's just the block of meat that they get frosted, and then they have to defrost it, and it's just a goop. And then
man.
you shave off some slices from the goop, and then you cook them for the day.
Let me tell you, the other day, Paige and I went on a little day trip to explore around, and we saw a restaurant that I have never heard of that they got out here in British Columbia that appeared from like a far distance to be some kind of Denny's variation.
Shoney's.
I have never seen a restaurant with a more disgusting, more repellent name. It's called the White Spot.
Yeah.
And like
yeah.
everything about like it makes me think of like a stained bed sheet. It's just like, oh my god.
Oh, that's good. Let's go eat at the White Spot.
Lord. I like we have to eat at one eventually, but like every time we pass it, we're like, today isn't that day. Fuck.
I was telling Reggie about the Cracker Barrel, and unfortunately, we didn't find any. We didn't get to go to one, but that's one where it's like we need to go there just so that you can stand in the gift shop in the front and just look around and start to feel really nervous. That gift shop.
Cracker Barrels have fucking gift shops?
You have to walk through it to get to the restaurant.
Why?
Because it's an old-timey vibe, and they want that vibe to be what you experience first, then you get to the food. And that vibe is either really nostalgic for some people or super terrifying for others. So
I see.
Yeah.
Depends on the meaning of the good old days.
Something about a Cracker Barrel gift shop makes you really nervous. You know? But then you get the biscuits and gravy, and you're like, God damn it, this food is good. It was real. The biscuits and gravy is solid. Anyway, I decided to just fully embrace the place I was in, and while Reggie was drawing snores, I ordered me some 2 a.m. Taco Bell because I'm like, I want it.
You're going ham on all the Americana here.
Yeah. I'm like, I need to know. So I'm like, oh yeah, I seen a commercial for that. What's that? A Gordita Crunch? Sure. Throw one of those in. Give me one of them Chalupa Lupas, whatever. And then of course the word, which I've heard and seen the memes of, but I need to know. They had a big old jumbo Baja Blast Mountain Dew sugar-free. And I'm like,
I've never seen a Baja Blast.
Diet Mountain Dew Baja Blast? What the fuck? And I ordered that shit. And it just shows up, and it's not a cup, it's a bucket size. It's like the jumbo crazy theater thing. Like, it's ridiculous. Ridiculous sized. And I took 2 sips, and like I cannot for the life of me identify anything remotely resembling a normal flavor or fruit. Nothing about it tastes real. It is the most chemically manufactured shit. I can't believe how non-real it tasted. It was so weird. Super fucking weird.
That reminds me of a discussion I had a little while ago about how, like, I'm not super big on watermelon, but shitty fake chemical watermelon fucking load me up with that.
Yeah, like I feel as if there's a horrifying future where we can create like an entire group of like dark fruits that are just not fruits that ever existed, but you can get them in soda flavors, you know?
That reminds me, you know how banana flavored shit doesn't taste like a banana at all?
Yep.
It in fact tastes like a completely different thing. You know why that is?
Why?
because it tastes like actual banana before the banana famine.
Oh, before all we got left with was the dole. Okay, okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Um quick history lesson for anyone who doesn't know. Bananas used to have multiple types and strains back in the day in the 70s. And then a banana famine killed off every single type, but the only one resistant was the dole for banana. So that's what they
It's
all are
the
like
shit
now.
banana that we have
Um,
now.
and then there's the alternate family stuff like figs and plantains, but that's a different
Yeah.
thing. Yeah, dude, there are some wild dark fruits that are just there's no you can't put your finger on it. It doesn't taste like anything you've ever tasted. But and Baja Blast absolutely is that. This fucking aqua blue green colored thing.
So it tastes like chemicals, right? That's what it
Yeah.
tastes like.
Yeah, just absolute chemical.
Because
And
like this tastes like chemicals. This doesn't taste like a food that was invented in
yeah.
nature.
Yeah, but in a more sinister way, I would say. But anyway,
Wait, really more. You describe the taste of Baja Blast as sinister chemicals?
like I just like when I taste like a fake fruit, like I'm tasting like oh you extracted a whole ton of of this like orange or this grape and then you distilled it and now it's like a powder and then that dried powder is being mixed back into this concentrate and we're going to drink that, right? But this
color is
thing it's blue green, it's aqua.
Okay. Does it
And
taste blue?
no, it doesn't. It tastes like someone in a lab coat with a beaker dripping something into something. It tastes like Walter White and Jesse Pinkman looking through the, dude, like cooking. That's what it's so weird. It's teal. Yes, it tastes teal. That's what it tastes. It doesn't taste blue. I know what blue tastes like. It tastes teal. So anyways, yeah, that happened, and then got to experience some of that cuisine. Then there was, of course, the fun of, in the middle of not in the middle of the night. Well, really, it was on Saturday morning. Drawing snores, dozing, sleeping soundly. The very low volume level of Cartoon Network in the background because TV on as you do. And then, being woken up to the sound of a grenade exploding.
Oh, cool. I forgot. You're in Michigan, right?
Being woken up to the sound of an
good.
explosion. But it's not a distant explosion. It's an explosion happening in the room with us.
Oh, well, that's all right.
And jolted out of bed, right? Staring at what's happening. Are we dead? Are we dying? Who's attacking? What? Just everything. And both of us are there, and like just trying to process. And then the sound of like metal and just boom and whatever, ringing.
Right.
So we then look at the floor and the fridge is open and tilted, and there's just like shit everywhere. And then I'm just staring at it and I'm like, it's way too early, brain can't process. And Reggie goes, cans exploded. And what happened was it's one of these like shitty fridges where we did a CVS run, bought a bunch of cans, put them in the fridge, and then the freezer is also a part of the fridge, but it's just the top right corner.
No, that's stupid.
And it's nothing. It's just if you put something in the top right, that's the freezer now. That's all it is.
That's so stupid.
The stupidest fridge design I've ever seen. And so a bunch of shit in there, including a fucking like I even got some what's it called, the canned water there, liquid death, just kaboom, shit everywhere, just absolute, and like an ice all over the ground, to which Reggie appropriately, remarks, yeah, ICE really did blow our door down.
Mhm.
So, like, yeah, good times. Anyway, whatever. So, yeah, we had that. We did the Fago testing. The video is going to come up. You'll see there. And then there was the Tournament of Dreams FGC edition, Full Guttural Carnage, is what we're going with, in which we did a basically it was an event to get to the bottom of some of the recent FGC news, recent FGC rivalries. A lot of new FG game, a lot of new fighting games have been popping up, and we wanted a tournament to kind of decide who the real winners were, who the real heroes of the fighting game community were, with all these new entrants showing up. So we decided to, of course, create a number of fighting game characters in WrestleMania 2K22 and have them fight it out in a tournament to decide the history of fighting games, So great event, good times, lots of fun. That will be popping up on the channel as well. Yeah, it was cool. It was good.
As always, the real winners of those in the fighting game community are the people who no longer play fighting games. So give a round of applause, to everybody who stopped.
And then, of course, there's just the background that is like rural Michigan, which is just your Deadly Premonition, David Lynchian, small town America vibe, and just like turning corners and staring at the back of this alleyway. And it's like, this just looks like an area where like the sky didn't finish loading.
I bet a tulpa lives there.
Mm-hmm. It's just, just had to take that in quite a bit. Just like, yeah, that's, what's up with that? That's just it's a vibe. And then, like you're gonna run into as many grocery stores as you will like taxidermy shops, to take your kill if you go hunting and you need someone to stuff it. There's more than enough places ready and waiting for that. So yeah, good shit. And yeah, I guess that's about it. I mean, there's some other stuff, but we'll discuss it in the news, I suppose. So, shout outs to anybody who came out and said what's up, to had some fun conversations with some people. And yeah, it was just a little, small little cute thing, but it was a good time. So we will be, oh yeah. There was a charity auction as well that was going, and I saw some events were being auctioned off, and then a Tetris blanket was held up, to which I believe I think I was on the commentator booth, and I think I got up and just walked over and said $200, fuck all y'all.
And you enjoying your Tetris blanket, sir?
Well, and then this shit kid comes up and is like 300, and I'm like, you don't have. God,
you don't. If you let that ride, that person probably would have gone, I don't even want the blanket.
Well, that's the thing, and I'm looking at him, and I'm like, I should let you hang out to dry right now. I should let you fucking rot. I know you don't have this money. I know this is a huge mistake. I know you're fucking around, and I know you're playing with fire, but it's for a good cause. So we'll play along, and rate 325, and then did it. But that son of a bitch is lucky. If this were not for a good cause, if this were not for a really good reason, I'm like, I should let you.
Hey, really, that kid's a hero, really.
And then of course it's like, what would you have done? I get the blanket. I'm like, what would you have done if I called you on that shit? And he's like, oh, I don't know, man. No plan whatsoever. Just saw a bit and went for it. No foresight.
We We all know what the real answer to those situations is. It's a foolproof tactic that works in almost every scenario, and that's just run away.
Yeah, yeah, basically.
Like people, like as you become an adult, like the ability to run away, it feels like it's left you, right? Because it's such a childish thing to do. But if you're at a convention or an auction and you go, I want that, and they go, okay, and you don't, just run, just literally turn on your heel and just run. What are they gonna do? Are they gonna chase you? No one's gonna chase you.
Yeah, no, no, I didn't roast him, but I should have let him burn. I should have done it. Um. Anyway, yeah. So there's gonna be a couple of videos popping up. Take a look over at Woolly Versus. Oh, and I mean, I always turn on the TV to see what's going on and just leave it on like Adult Swim or whatever. This time around, again, just the like you know that TV's dead when like channels have 3 or 4 shows just in block programming for the entire day, and that's it. That's all
Yeah,
TV
that's
is
it.
now.
Hey, do you want to watch Teen Titans Go, motherfucker?
You want to watch Rick and Morty, which also has custom commercials that are like Rick and Morty versions of commercials that only air during that block.
I think the funniest thing is that the last time I was in a hotel, I couldn't figure out what to watch, and I was scrolling through, and I was like, "Oh, look, that's the lady who played Lieutenant Van Buren in the Law and Order, but she's working at some kind of hospital now." Okay, what's this called? Chicago Hospital. So I watched an episode of that Chicago Hospital, and I'm like, I wonder what else is on. And the answer is apparently Chicago Hospital
Yeah, yeah,
on
yeah, yeah.
goddamn every channel.
Oh
It
yeah.
replaced Law and Order as the procedural that is just on everything.
If you feel like if you're a fan of Impractical Jokers, guess what? True TV has you covered.
Mm-hmm.
20 hours a day out of 24, you are going to get as much Impractical Jokers as you could ever want. Um, More than enough Sal for everybody. But then there was Primal, which came on, and
Mm-hmm.
I actually was like, "Oh fuck!" I heard Primal's really good now, so I like let me change that. So I didn't watch, but I want to get back and watch more Primal because like yeah, apparently the latest season has been fucking wild. Um,
Well,
so
yeah,
yeah,
dude, it's in the caveman times.
yes, exactly. Um,
Haha.
gonna get back to that. Um, but yes, check out Wooly Versus. We got Mass Effect continuing. We got these special events coming out. Um, Silent Hill 3, a new LP, of course, will be starting next week to take the spot. And then we also are going to be, yeah, so we're going to be coming back around to the our next Dignity stream as well. I'll make an announcement on Twitter, but
What is
right.
that, this Friday?
Let me see. Not this one. I think we're gonna do it next Friday. Um, Probably gonna do the first Friday of each month, and maybe one in the middle of that as well. So I think we're gonna do at least one a month, maybe 2 is how we're gonna go about it.
Mhm.
Probably do 2 because hey, guess what? It went well. People like it and it's good. So it would be
What? That's
stupid
crazy.
to not do that more often. Hey, Wooly, how about you fucking fight your stupid instincts to just like kick success in the balls and actually just take it and run with it for once, you idiot, you fool, you fucking moron.
Willie, who are you talking to that talks to you in this manner?
Just anyway,
Is it
so
you?
don't worry about it.
Is it you that talks to you in this manner?
It's like we do it. It was a really fun time. It was a really good stream. Lots of good shit came out of it. Everything's good, and like the bit and all that. And I'm like, yeah, that's pretty solid. Guess we'll maybe do that once a month. It's just like, yeah,
Yo, dude,
yeah.
it's
So
wild. Like I've been doing it once a week, and like even then, I'm looking around. I'm like, huh? I wonder what people who do this content, how often they do it. Oh, 6 days a week.
every single fucking day.
Right,
Yeah,
every day.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
I don't. I don't think I could do that.
No, but
I think I would
Essentially,
actually hate that.
no. What I'm probably going to end up doing is like the thing is I can't if I do it and I do get into fighting games the next day, I'm burnt out. It's a 6 day
Yeah.
week at that point. I can't. I don't want to do 6 day weeks like all the time. So I'm gonna pick one or the other, and then whatever is happening, if it's a get into fighting games, then we will. Then it won't be Dignity, or it will, or whatever. So that's
See?
that's probably how we do it.
That's how it is.
That's
Get
how it
out of
is.
fighting
Get out.
games.
Get
Get
out.
into it. Yeah.
Get the fuck out. No, there's some good fighting game news this week, and we're gonna fucking
There
talk
is.
about
Yeah.
it. So yeah.
By the way, I wanna say me joking about get it out of fighting games. I'm just routinely surprised at the look that hits your face every time I say it looks like I am cutting you. It looks like you're being actively stabbed.
No, it's like it's a battle. It's a battle, and I'm a fight it till the day I die. But I'm also gonna use that for something, and
All right.
I'm thinking about what, but that being said, though, if you want some, yeah, there's some we do some good bits in that fucking that stupid wrestling thing that are fun. Anyway, so we're gonna be doing all that, and then of course over on Wooly versus the Algorithm. If you haven't checked it out yet, that will be where a lot of the Dignity content is gonna go. So the latest, you got fucking Dokapon to top 10 betrayals. You got the vacation travel guide to Zozo. Some real good shit popping up over there. So do check it out. Yeah, I'll save the rest for the news. What's going on?
All right. I don't know what it feels like the last podcast was like 4 weeks ago because I'm like looking at the amount of shit that I went through in that time period and it's way higher than normal. Okay. Straight up. I went through and just beat Arkham Asylum like straight through for the first time since like 2011.
How about those fucking bosses?
So Arkham Asylum is one of those games that it's so similar to its sequels that you think parts of the sequels are in it. So like I thought when I think of the way Arkham Asylum's combat works, I think of Arkham City. So when I go back to Arkham Asylum, I keep going, why can't I do this? Why can't I move this far? Why can't I right? What is that? Was that just added later? And the answer is yes. That game's cool. What's really weird with both Arkham Asylum and City that I started playing afterwards is that I hit the 50% mark in those games, and my memory goes from, oh yeah, I remember this. Yeah, I remember this part. Cool. To what is this? You go where now? What? Like I was getting to the halfway point in Arkham City and going, "Oh, cool, we're about to beat the game," and everyone's like, "No, you're not. You're at the halfway point." I'm like, "But my memory stops at the halfway point."
Are you so you blend the rest into the sequel?
No, it happened to both separately.
Huh.
Like in Arkham Asylum, I 100% completely forgot about all the crazy dudes and plant monsters on the island and how incredibly awful that is.
Yeah.
Like when I think of like all my Arkham Asylum, I think of my memories of like the first third of the game when you're moving around and you're doing Batman stuff and you're getting the grapple hook and you're like, wow.
I mean, the quote-unquote overworld is super tiny. It's like 2 areas, maybe 3.
It's really small.
But you have to trudge through them a couple times. Yeah.
Cities is also fairly small, but City does not fill its world with plant projectile freaks. I don't know. Oh man, like going through them and just feeling that 7th gen. Are boss fights over with? Can we finally move on from boss fights energy of going through like some of the absolute shittiest boss fights in otherwise good games? Asylum's boss fights are uniquely goddamn awful.
What
They are wild.
like what was with that era of like I guess just like Western games not understanding the concept of like using the mechanics in an interesting way to fight.
It was
Like I just like every version, every because there was the Banes, and when it wasn't the Banes, it was the plant fucking the poison ivy thing,
yeah.
and
And like you can roll Mass Effect 1 and 2 into that era of like, oh, a boss fight. Oh, you mean like a big enemy to just that has 3 more bars of health? Shoot more? Shoot more?
but
Like,
everyone
God,
keeps saying it.
terrible.
Everyone keeps saying that they figure it out later in later games, and that you see some better ones. So
Yeah,
you know,
at about the halfway point in Arkham City, they finally realize how to make a good boss.
hmm.
And that game has like 2 or 3 good bosses. But yeah, those games are great. Arkham Asylum aged pretty poorly overall. The second half of it, anyway, kind of bummed me out. Wooly, have you kept up with Ultra Kill?
No, except I know Chapter Two's out. I know Gianni's in it, and I know there's a crazy maybe user created Minecraft level or
Okay,
something like that.
so the secret levels in Ultra Kill are all different games. There's a Crash Bandicoot one. There's one that's The Witness.
Okay.
Stuff like that. What's the last stuff that you did in Ultra Kill?
I fought.
You beat V1.
Yeah.
Sorry, beat V2.
And Gabriel was it or
Yeah, you beat Gabriel.
yeah? I believe so.
Okay. They've got new weapons. They've got new arms. Uh, we're in it.
Hmm.
Yeah, we're in it.
What? Wait.
Do you not know that?
What? No.
Okay. So, do you want me to tell you more about that?
Um. Is it cool?
It's extremely cool.
Uh. Yeah. Well, tell me a bit about it.
Okay. So
What?
you, me, Matt, Vinny, and 2 other guys who I don't recognize them and I feel bad for, appear as skeletons in a secret room.
Hey.
In which you and I are cramped into the same. It's Markiplier? Okay. You and I are cramped into one coffin in which you are normal size with your hat and dreads, your green hat, and I am a tiny baby skeleton.
Oh, wait, I
Like,
think I did see
literally
that.
a foot tall. Yeah,
Oh,
you
no.
did see that.
Yeah, wait, no, I think that was already in Act 1. I think
Yeah.
I did see that. Yes.
Um,
Correct. Yeah.
and in addition, if you pull Matt's skull off a thing and put it into a pedestal, a confused sounding Mandalore shows up to fight you with druid powers, like his goddamn Mystery of the Druids video. It's real inside. It's real weird
Wow.
and inside.
Okay,
Like he's literally
Akita.
like firing owls at you.
Sure.
And Mandalore's audio sounds. It sounds like he wasn't told what it was going to be for, because it's a boss fight in which the character is going, okay, so are we going to kill him now? Like it's fucking strange.
Okay.
But on top of that,
But you get to your gameplay is so fun that you get to do whatever the fuck you want with a game like that, man.
Yeah. On top of that, which is really cool, even if I am going to be a tiny baby skeleton, Shammy is the other guy, part of that boss fight. I'm not familiar with him, unfortunately. The whole second act is out.
Yeah.
Which it includes. Okay, well, you know how it's Devil May Quake?
Yes.
Right. If you were making a Devil May Quake shooter and you had, say, a parry and you had you know, the ability to do all sorts of gunslinger moves. Is there a specific arm-based move that you would want out of the Devil May Cry catalog added as a permanent power-up?
In Ultra Kill, yeah, I think a Buster would be pretty fucking sick. I think Snatch would be
Yeah, that would be really
goddamn awesome.
cool as part of your basic move set, wouldn't it?
Uh, okay, let's go.
And then building levels around the assumption that you have it. Um, it's that that game. It's got 2/3 of its current content out. The second act also adds a new weapon, and it's just so goddamn great. Like, it just from its feel to its level design to its enemies to all the bosses are incredible. And it has my favorite version of Doom or first person shooter secrets in a level ever. Because you get to the end, and first of all, it tells you what there's 5 orbs to find, which is, you know, climb up here in a weird spot, or go through the waterfall. You know, those little secret collectibles. But every mission has the kill 1 enemy, beat the level while killing 1 enemy, finish the level in 10 seconds. Don't fight this boss.
Yeah.
Like, don't fight. But occasionally fight the secret encounter.
But you know, a game is sick when, like, you're doing things with you get a weapon and you see it's alt fire or something, and you're like, oh, this is cheating. I feel like I'm cheating right now, and the game's like, no, that's as intended.
I think what might be the most in its own aesthetic moment in Ultra Kill is that you do eventually find a power-up in the second act that doubles your guns. So if you've it's temporary. It's like room-based. It's like a minute or two.
But that's
like, you want
more than enough.
You want 2 ricochet pistols? Fuck. You want 2 nail guns?
2 shotguns.
There you go.
Double punch.
But what kills it is that you can also find a spot in which you can find a second and third version of that power-up, in which you have the 2 guns, but then your third gun shows up on the right, and you can still use the punch, and the punch comes out from underneath on the left.
Fuck yeah! Shut up. Who cares?
Yeah, and you just have shut up. Shut up.
That's great. It's
great.
I'm preemptively jealous of the person who's in the future going to get to play all acts of this game for the first time in a row.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, I went through it like a shooter, right? I just went boom, 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 boom. And then I'm seeing footage of boss fights that I didn't do. And I'm like, where? How do I get to this boss? And the answer is, find all the secrets in here, or he's part of this secret level, or so.
I remember in Act 1 there was the pit that you fall into, and then you can just there's a whole branch.
Like going through it and then like looking up like, oh, how many secrets are in here, and finding out that there is a enormous amount of optional content on top of that. Like this, New Blood's output is so, like, it's boomer shooting of like, oh man, remember Quake? Remember, you know, this? And it's like, but I look back on those games, it's like, I think Dusk is better than Quake. Like, I know some people are gonna want to stab me for that. Well, but like, I genuinely think Dusk is better than Quake.
If something is built on the shoulders of another thing and then just like improves things, it's you can say that. Quake is a classic for what it represents and what it established, more so
it's
than
like, I think a medieval is better than Heretic or Hexen. But where Ultra Kill is different is that it's not it is genuinely like it's a stylish action first person shooter, probably the real first of its kind. It has that goddamn style meter in the upper right the whole time, and it's it's just goddamn great. It's so
Um,
good.
is the second act comparable in
It's
length?
complete. Yeah, it's the same length.
Okay.
So the 3 layer. Oh, I think it's a little shorter because it's 2 full layers and then a layer that is one that's 2 levels long instead of 4 levels long.
Okay.
But it has just as much secret shit, and it has a weapon that I didn't get, a secret fancy weapon that I didn't get.
Hmm.
Because it's hidden behind a mandatory replay of a boss level. Yeah, no, that game's great. That game's great, and I fully expect the third act to come out and it to be air quotes done, but then have a bunch of shit added to it in secret or behind the scenes. Um, which reminds me, you know how Vampire Survivors is almost done?
Sure.
Yeah, that game's gonna get a story mode in 1.0.
You know what? Okay, no, I laugh, but then I think about the narrative content that's already kind of there a little bit, and you can see the desire to like to have more of that. Like
Do you know?
it does a very light amount of narrative, but you can tell that the creator has some of that in them and kind of wants more. That kind of checks out.
You want to run a wild guess as to who is going to be writing the story mode for Vampire Survivors? That's right. It's friend of the show and good video maker James Stephanie Sterling.
Wow. Wow. Fuck yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Let's do it. Let's fucking do it. Yeah, it's like either that or like, yeah, we contacted some legendary creator in Japan and like just paid for a beer and got this out of them. Fair enough. Wow.
So yeah, Ultra Kill, thumbs up. And also, I'm gonna reiterate, even though I already talked about it. Yeah, Gloomwood's incredible. Gloomwood is also shaping up to be just as good as what you think the old Thief games were like. Let's see what else. Ultra Kill, Arkham City. Oh, right before the stream. So I was planning to stream Proteus earlier today before the stream, but I couldn't because the Twitch thing broke. Mm-hmm. So instead, I decided to hop on the new Overwatch game. It has a weird name though. It's called Gundam Evolution. Have you seen the new Overwatch game called Gundam Evolution?
I did watch a trailer for it, and yeah.
That is a clone. That is an Overwatch clone. The down to the QER is in the same exact spot, font, and shape on the screen.
Okay.
Like that is Overwatch, but with a Gundam. It is really jank, but it's also really good.
And the abilities they're doing are signature abilities for each suit.
They're appropriate. Yeah. So you get Gundam 76, and he's got a decent long-range rifle, and he can put the shield up.
79.
79, my mistake.
Yeah.
You want Zaku, or do you want a Zaku 2, or do you want a different suit, Zaku 2 Melee, where you've got the axe out? Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Barbados is part of the default roster and is taking up the Reinhardt slot.
Reinhardt, yep, big melee, that makes sense.
Gun Tank is in there, taking up the Diva slot. Yeah, no, it's literally just Overwatch, and monetized out all to hell if you want your different skins for your unicorn or what have you. But it's pretty good. It's also not stable. and significantly jank. It needs time.
Okay.
It definitely needs time. But I mean, I like myself a Gundam, but I wouldn't call myself like a huge Gundam mark. For people that are Gundam marks, this thing is like I'm loading into matches and people have their player icons set to like Sayla in front of like a burning sky.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm just like, okay, yeah,
Hey,
no,
can you guys
this is
can someone confirm whether or not you can do a jet stream attack? Can you
don't know
fucking
what that means.
you jump on you get three you squat up and then you and your buddies you get the third person to jump on your shoulder and then you just fucking charge
I
into
don't think
battle.
that's in there.
No jet stream. Okay. Well,
It has a very wide selection from
okay.
different series to start. Like I was pretty surprised to see like it's not even necessarily like the hero units from each particular show.
Okay.
Like they're
Yeah.
just grabbing them
Well,
hither and
that's
thither.
better for variety. Absolutely. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. No, game's cool, man.
Uh,
And I didn't watch Cyberpunk Edge Runners, which I really
I was
strongly should.
I was planning to do that while away. I was hoping like I was like in the airport or something, but I didn't get around to it, unfortunately. Yeah. That being said, though, I was gonna say like, did you play X versus M-Bon?
X versus N-Bon? I don't know what that is.
Gundam Extreme versus Maxi Boost on.
No, I don't know. I did not play that.
Okay. Well, like if they had to just go through that list, which is like every suit you'd want and every side suit and like all the specials that you could imagine, you can just pick from a giant list and go like, oh yeah, this grouping here would make a perfect team shooter, and then like for like there's modes like push and capture the flag and point capture and shit like that.
Mm.
So like yeah, you could just kind of like select from that and pare it down. I imagine is what they did. Anyway.
Yeah. Also, it's free, so jank or not, it's free to play / try. The biggest issue is stability, like losing like just getting dropped from your match, and if you get dropped from your match outside your control enough times, it'll like temporarily ban you because it thinks you're quitting.
You're rage quitting. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's great.
Hmm.
I'm gonna be doing my React garbage stream tomorrow night. So if you want to check that out, go down to twitch.tv/PatStaresAt, and I'll figure out something for next week. But I mean, you'll have next podcast do it. This is a wildly late podcast compared to the week.
Okay. Gundam Evolution. I was just looking at the roster. Grab a GM sniper. Yeah, okay. Get your dom in there.
It's got a bunch of I wouldn't call them weirdos, but it's definitely not the star-studded roster that I would have expected.
Would Turne be like Tracer? No, Turne could be Death Reigns from Above.
Turne has a grab move where they grab you and throw you down.
Okay. Turne's a grappler.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Like it's a weird game. It's cool.
Open up a tab over here. Cool. All right.
Hey, you want to take 5 minutes to take a piss?
Yep, let's do that. BRB.
Okay. BRB in a second.
All right. Quick word from our sponsors.
Whom we love.
Ever so dearly. This week, the podcast is sponsored by Stitch Fix. Hell yeah, the service that is about getting you out of that schlubby outfit and getting you looking good.
Pajama pants and gaming t-shirt aren't... Okay, I'm not even going to try.
No, you can rock pajama pants and gaming t-shirt, but you can do it in a way that is like, it coordinated. You can get a tight fit together. Absolutely. Well, but the thing is, of course, maybe you can't, but there are people who can.
If it gets tight enough, you don't like what you're seeing.
There are people who can, and those people are the experts at Stitch Fix, because they're basically all about getting you to look better. Because shopping for your own fashion styles, whatever works out, what fits and suits you. If you just don't have it, you don't have the thing that can put together a good look, a good outfit, and
I can't drip.
Yeah, if you can't drip, if you are dripless, terminally dripless, Stitch Fix for you. This is what you want to pay attention, because what they do is they will have you answer a couple questions about where you get your clothes, what you like to wear, and importantly, of course, there's your price range. Then with that, you get your sizes, and they can have you go through and try out a couple of items that'll fit you head to toe. Thousands of brands, of course, to choose from. Things that are, after you fill out that test, they'll give you a style profile, find what you like to wear, and customize it. So they send you some hand-picked out clothing, and you keep what you like, and you return what you don't, just like that. It is, terminally dripless is a state. It's a condition. There's no fix.
Suffering from it for years.
There is no cure. You just have to wait until it's over. However, there is there is no cure, but there is treatment, and the treatment is Stitch Fix. So get in on it right now. Stitch Fix is offering listeners $20 off their first fix at stitchfix.com/superbeast. That's stitchfix.com/superbeast for $20 off today. One more time, stitchfix.com/superbeast. Fix that drip. Thank you, Stitch Fix.
Thanks, Stitch Fix.
Podcast is also sponsored this week by Uncommon Goods. And Uncommon Goods has been a fun site to take a look at. It's pretty much what the name implies when you're shopping for your loved ones, friends, family, and anyone, and you want to get a good gift. Sometimes, sometimes you know exactly what to get. Other times, it's a bit difficult to figure out what fits in, what they'll like.
Terrible gift giver. Terrible.
I'm pretty fucking good at it. I'm pretty solid at it. But despite that, you can't get everybody the perfect thing every time. So Uncommon Goods gives you exactly what they say, a list of uncommon things, items, fun stuff around the house, fun things for life, just thousands, just tons and tons of things to look through that are not the usual. And I know I've seen a couple things on there, and I've grabbed a couple things as well. Like I said, I got a game of 3D tic-tac-toe, which has been a ton of fun. Like, it's literally just, it is X's and O's with the Z-axis. It's pretty sick. That's where, of course, the self-watering plants, that's where they were able to hook that up. And I saw like a grilled vegetable cooker, like all kinds of stuff that is just like, ooh, I didn't think of that. That's pretty good. I bet you they'd like that. Who doesn't like some good grilled veggies, Smart
I could go for a grilled vegetable right now.
Yeah, and no one would think to go out and actually acquire that on their own. So Uncommon Goods has some fun stuff, and everything I've grabbed from there so far has been pretty dope. And of course, holiday season's coming up, so why not step up your gift giving game? They are, of course, as well supporting artists and small independent businesses, and yeah, with every purchase you make at Uncommon Goods, they give back $1 to a nonprofit partner of your choice. They've donated more than $2.5 million to date, so you can get 15% off your next gift if you go to uncommongoods.com/superbeast. That's uncommongoods.com/superbeast for 15% off. Don't miss on the limited time offer. One more time, Uncommon Goods. They're all out of the ordinary. Yeah, no, that's like legit. It's a super solid spot to find some unusual gift ideas, and I like when it's like, ooh, what is this? I never even knew this existed. That's the kind of reaction that you want to get. So check them out. Thank you, Uncommon Goods.
Thanks, Uncommon Goods.
And this week, the podcast is sponsored by HelloFresh.
HelloFresh? Oh, I love HelloFresh. I've been eating them this week.
Damn. Did you yell? Did you say hello to the freshness when you opened it up?
No, actually, what happened was I was sitting around going, I wonder when the HelloFresh box is going to show up. I hope it shows up today. And then I walked outside and had actually been there.
There you
for
go.
like over an hour. The mailman like snuck it to my door.
That's it. So, of course, HelloFresh is getting, as Pat mentioned, straight to your door, farm fresh, pre-portioned ingredients, seasonal recipes, and all the things you need to skip your trip to the grocery store. You can make cooking as simple as following the instructions, and you can enjoy it because you're at the end of the day saying, I made this. I did it. It's me. They don't even get mad if you take the credit.
Or you told your wife to make it, and that's almost as good.
You can still take that credit too, really.
It's basically my idea, so really.
HelloFresh doesn't even get mad if you take the credit after you cook that meal. That's it. They're giving it to you right there in the pocket. If you are looking to go with, vegetarian, vegan, protein, keto, all kinds of different meal plans, they are flexible. You can customize it, not just for dinners as well. They got breakfasts. They got wholesome snacks, desserts, all kind of things lined up. And there's quick and easy meals as well. Stuff that you can put together in 20 minutes, low prep, and easy cleanup options. So tons and tons of choices. Not to mention, of course, they also have convenience items, over 70 plus, that are deliverable as well. So they work on your schedule. Plans are flexible. You set them up. You can take a pause if you need to. Yeah, get in there. I know I did. I definitely enjoyed more than a couple of those recipes as they came in. And yes, when my wife made them, I was like, damn, I made such a good meal. That's awesome.
You did such a good job, Willie. You killed it.
I felt real proud.
You went to the website and you clicked a couple of easy buttons, and then it's like you're a genius.
So, if you want to feel like a genius, go to hellofresh.com/superbeast65 and use the code superbeast65 for how much? 65% off plus free shipping. That's a crazy number. That's crazy.
That's crazy.
We can't do
that. That's like 2/3.
I would complain about how much that is. I would write a letter and go, "You're giving them too much."
If I was HelloFresh man talking to Discount Man at HelloFresh, I would say you're crazy. They should call us big crazy HelloFreshes.
If this doesn't work, I might fire you. But god damn it, we're gonna give them a deal. That's hellofresh.com/superbeast65, code superbeast65, and you're getting 65% off plus free shipping. Thank you, HelloFresh.
Thanks, HelloFresh.
Okay, so in the news.
Nothing happened.
Actually, that's a lie, Pat. A lot of stuff happened over this week.
Oh, what? Get out of town.
Not
actually,
all.
You did actually literally get out of town. So.
I did.
Never mind.
And I made it. I made it back. Yeah. No. I'm here,
Okay.
and I caught wind of a couple things going down. I suppose like top of the pile is the. I mean, there was winds of this beforehand, but excuse me, the confirmation about Twitch changing their revenue share for partners. Um, so the split from affiliate to partner goes 70-30,
Hmm.
and they're dropping that down to 50-50. And um, lots of people obviously finding more and more reasons to look over at YouTube streaming. And
It's
I think we talked about how like the first time they were mentioning this plan a while ago, they were also removing the simultaneous broadcast clause. So they're almost like,
but
yeah,
not to any of the platforms you would actually want to simultaneously broadcast to.
yeah, but the idea of almost like a, hey, we know, so here, do this instead kind of thing. Yeah, that's the direction they're going with. I'm not
Hmm.
surprised. It's not.
Uh,
I don't find it like that shocking at all that they'd roll back that kind of move and that they'd go in a direction that's like, actually, we want a bigger cut. It's like, yeah, this is what's to be expected of these streaming platforms.
so I'm totally unshocked about how Twitch would want a bigger cut. They've wanted a bigger cut for a while. Um, I'm not, well, I wouldn't say I'm surprised by any of this. What I am is annoyed at the language used. Well, you see, we thought that the 50-50 split was,
Ah,
we invented
yes,
that because to symbolize that we're
the
all in this
reasoning.
together.
Mm-hmm,
Like,
mm-hmm,
no, you
mm-hmm.
did 50-50 because you're the market leader and you could get away with it. Like,
Yeah,
that's why.
just like really just announce it and then just post a gif of Tony Soprano skimming off the top, just taking a couple of extra
Yeah.
bills, and then call it a day. Like
The other thing that's really smart is they made sure to categorize it as, well, don't worry, this will only affect people's subscription revenue over $100,000 USD, which is perfectly capitulated to make sure that you don't feel too bad about it. But to the people that are affected by it, primarily, they're making way more than 100K USD off of those subs, right? And I can see people like, I'm not, I'm loath to name names because I'm not going to speak for anybody. Like somebody like as big as Pokimane,
mm-hmm,
right? She's definitely making more than 100K
mm-hmm,
off of subs. Like YouTube now offers a substantially better cut. I would not be surprised to see the super bigs
mm-hmm.
just jump straight over to YouTube.
It's been
Like
discussed quite
in
a bit.
parts, like in huge groups
Mm-hmm.
as
Um,
of next June.
yeah, I mean, anyway, whatever. It's like exactly. It's like I said, it's not a surprising thing. Not gonna like um, um, sit here and go on rants about like large amounts of money, but ultimately the uh, the one thing with YouTube is just how does that stream archive when it sits on your channel affect the how the algorithm looks at like your
Well, what you
videos,
do is you have that stream, that channel for streams,
for
and
yeah
the other channel for
you
not
create
streams.
exactly you create the probably the dedicated purpose, yeah, because they don't seem to like the mix too much. Yeah,
So
I have seen that.
there's a good comment over here, which is too bad YouTube is fucking garbage at finding streams. I have good news slash bad news for everyone. Everything is trash for finding anything. I used the Twitch search function for the first time in like multiple weeks the other day, and it was like, how the fuck do you even find the fucking channel you're looking for unless you're looking for the specific one with the name? Like, I can't even sort it by game. It's just like, you want to look at this? No.
I did notice that anytime a channel was live that I'm subscribed to, it tends to pop up right at the top of the sub list. So
Hmm.
they do give that live emphasis.
Yeah.
But yeah, I definitely don't have enough info on like how the archive is treated afterwards.
But yeah, if the super huge Twitch streamers are looking at YouTube and seeing a literal 20% bump or retaining that 20%. Like they're all going to go over.
Mm-hmm.
So YouTube is probably having a great day.
Yeah. Now, if I understand correctly, too, like the systems don't work identically in that, like, without like Twitch has like bits and donation messages and sub messages, and YouTube more so is about like super chats and things like that. So
Yeah.
it's a little different, but um, what's interesting, of course, is going hand in hand with that.
About
Uh,
getting those Akasupas.
Going hand in hand with that Twitch news was the announcement that, um, you know what? Actually, I'm not going to roll past that. What the fuck are you talking about?
Okay. It's a fucking VTuber thing.
Okay.
Because Aka means red,
Yes.
and Supa means super chat, and a $100 super chat is red.
So an Akasupa is a super. Okay. Damn. Okay. All right. Sure. Yeah. All right. Do the English VTubers say that as well?
I don't know. I'm
Are
just responding to the trash they sent to my watch later list.
the EN VTubers? You guys are using that too?
I don't
That's
know.
funny. That's funny. Akasupa. Okay. Um. Well, the timing is quite interesting because parallel YouTube just announced that they're planning to uh, allow monetization with licensed music and specific licensed music. And what's interesting about this is like it's a pretty positive story because it's like letting it's like, hey, you're not gonna get a fucking strike or a takedown, but I don't I don't know if it's been mentioned, but this has already been kind of implemented behind the scenes already. Because sometimes when you upload a thing with a licensed track on it, sometimes
it goes, no, that's fine.
Yeah, right? It'll say, we recognize what you've uploaded, but it's okay. The license holder is okay with it. And then other times it'll say the license holder is not claiming the video, but they're okay with a revenue split. So there'll be times where they'll be like, they're taking this percentage of whatever it is, right? So that has already been there. So this seems to be just like bringing that existing system to the forefront. And implementing a proration for when you have multiple tracks. So initially it seems as if like there's the 55-45% split, and then each additional track you use affects the amount. So essentially you can end up splitting as many songs as you use into like tiny percentages. So it obviously is in your best interest to, like, I guess, use less rather than more. But
is this finally the end of the copyright deadlock?
For you, no. But for YouTube, it is an interesting step. The main thing, of course, is once it rolls out, are you going to get major record labels on board? Are you going to get major publishers on board? Are you going to get your Warner Media, Sony BGM, etc. on board?
Yeah, no, they're not. No.
And then internationally as well, because there's the each branch, like Sony Brazil, it has a lot. They claim a lot of shit for some reason, more than any other branch. But yeah, it's an interesting step in the right direction, certainly. And I think if you can plan for it, like I know people who do like video essays and stuff will do like a sponsored thing in that video. If you can kind of go like, I'm going to use this music, it's going to be a part of this, and I'm going to put this in, you can kind of at least anticipate what'll happen there, as opposed to just getting a strike at fucking worst.
Hey, here's what I want. Okay, I want YouTube to come out and say, hey, you can stream GTA 5 with the radio on. That's what I want.
Yeah, I don't know. That's
a pipe dream.
That's a fucking pipe dream. Not quite. but they're going to start with individual detection, you know. So
It's wild that like my perception and opinion of the Grand Theft Auto games changed overnight as soon as I started doing stuff that I had to worry about copyrighted music.
mm-hmm.
Like I went from like, man, those games are great to I like kind of resent them
Well,
because
the
ugh.
the wildest thing I, like recently is Guardians of the Galaxy, where it's like the
Oh man.
experience of this entire game is linked to the music, and
I think the
we're in a unique
wildest
position
thing
to
about
just
that
like miss
game
out on
was
that.
that they sent out paid sponsorships, but then told people to turn the music off. And I'm like, you're paying people to play this game with the music off? What a
So
weirdly bad demonstration of the
so
game.
the streamer mode is I believe not silent, but it has the in-game soundtrack. You know, it just has a like a score.
Sometimes
But
for
yeah,
that
man.
one.
And like of course, yeah, any Tony Hawk game is like you can't separate the music from the fucking experience. And I, you know, and to be honest, like not just Tony Hawk, like a bunch of games like SSX and
Yeah.
you know, like yeah, there's a ton of games like that as well where you need it, man. So, anyways, I like that somebody who is, you know, the license holder can at least sick the fucking guard dogs off, you know, if they choose to, because the initial setup of like, okay, well, step one, we're going to shoot you, and then step two, we're going to figure out whether or not you were the right target, and then we'll, you know, deal with the rest later, ask questions later, is fucked. So that's going to roll out, when did they say? In the future.
Later.
Sometime coming. Yeah.
We're gonna do a thing. When? I don't know. I hate that. I'm so sick of that.
Mm-hmm. And it and I mean and it makes sense too, considering like trying to like follow the TikTok way of doing things, where a sizable chunk of your content is going to be people hearing the same 15 seconds of the same song, like
Yeah, the
billions of
TikTok way of doing
times.
it, which is who gives a shit? Use whatever, man. I don't know why the rules are so different there. It's fucking weird. I don't get it.
I mean, maybe they won't be for long, but
Yeah, maybe.
yeah, like
TikTok just seems like the Wild West again.
yes, the obvious thought is like, yeah, maybe China doesn't give a fuck, you know, maybe, but the I know that they're the it's now run by like a U.S. company branch or whatever, so it might not last forever. The but yeah, that's YouTube, that's Twitch. Okay, so some other stuff going on over at Blizzard. Multiple Overwatch stories.
Oh, what? We got stories from about Blizzard?
All right, so
What? That's
step one.
crazy.
Step one. New
All right.
Overwatch 2 accounts will have to unlock old Heroes 2.
Is that so that you have to pay $40 to unlock the characters right away
So you can
to
spend the
skip the
money,
battle pass?
or you can, yeah, if your Blizzard, if your account already has the first game, then
In-
you know whatever you get the access. But if you are a new account, fresh, playing Overwatch 2 for the first time, you'll have access to a limited set of game modes, heroes, and some other restrictions on board, and you'll be earning them gradually as a first-time user.
Hey man, hey, listen. We talked at length about how Overwatch is a game all about counter picking. So we're going to make every opportunity possible to make it so that the good characters you want to use as counter picks are as far away time or money from you as possible.
This is also completely separate from the Battle Pass stuff we talked about before, which was heroes that are locked behind Battle Pass level 55.
Mm-hmm.
Or yeah, pay
Goody.
or pay the cash right up front, of course.
I
Um,
like how people who are going and it's like it's not that big of a deal say just play 100 matches. Depending on how often somebody plays a game, 100 matches can be a really, really long time.
I mean, ultimately, I think it's just the weirdness of this being a sequel to an existing thing. So every one of these decisions and steps is just compared to the stupidity of like fucking up what was just a buy the game, play the game situation.
Yeah. It was one of those weird buy to play games.
Um,
Well, don't worry. At least when you're playing through those 100 matches trying to unlock the old characters, you can be guaranteed that it's not toxic anymore.
this is a fucking interesting story, and I'm curious. I'm curious on the vibe here because here's what's up. Overwatch 2 will record everything you say in voice chat, and your Blizzard account will require a phone number. And this is being done in the name of fighting toxicity. So that I suppose the idea is by requiring a phone number that doesn't allow burner phones or temp numbers or VoIP numbers, it makes it so that you have one identity, and if you can't verify it, then you can't just make a secondary account. And I'm imagining that the idea of the voice recording is so that you can do the equivalent of a moderator on a Twitch channel and click a name to see, hey, what have you been saying if people are complaining about you over the last month? Because they say did they delete all that voice data after 30 days. It's a fascinating thing because in the pursuit of that, you are literally just like having a massive breach of security and recording people's lives through the microphone.
So, okay. So I used to be way into Blizzard games back in the day, and StarCraft 2, right? I was never good at StarCraft 2, but I followed it very, very clearly. So, Battle.net, um, and Blizzard have been trying to get as much data on you as possible for a really long time. They attempted to go through the real ID system for StarCraft 2, in which your username was going to just be your real name. And
Mm-hmm.
that had blowback because it was like a doxing machine and it was like a harassment generator. So they eventually folded on that. Um, Hardware ID bans have been a thing for a while to ban like your Windows account slash motherboard. Um, Adding phone verification doesn't do anything. There's
So
ways to get around it. Other games that require having a phone attached to it, people can create like Google phone fucking numbers and get around it.
So I'm seeing someone say
Um,
that the story is hyperbole because the phone thing is a mandatory two-factor implementation, um, and that the voice data is on reported players and it's transcribing it to text and deleting the audio.
yeah,
That's what I'm seeing there.
here
So
so that's great, assuming you believe that statement.
and
So
mhm.
I find it absolutely hilarious, and it's a situation of like the company that is currently falling to pieces over being staffed with people that basically had a rape room are saying that they need your phone number and to record your conversations in order to combat toxicity. Like, do I like we're gonna guys, we're just gonna record it and only on reported players. Well, you're gonna have to record it on all players because people only get reported at the end of a match. And then you're gonna have to make sure that it's transcribed and all the old stuff is deleted, which I don't trust Blizzard to handle its own internal security with people's voice recordings because I don't.
So,
Like,
when I think about the idea of like, okay, how do you, if you're trying to figure out how to address toxicity, right? And your game implements a system where it detects the words and then moderates them live, right? And
yeah,
then
that's not going to account with anyone with a non-American English accent.
Well, God, exactly right? There's a
or speaking a non-American English
sure,
language.
but I'm saying hypothetically in the future when, because obviously AI shit is gonna make everything more accurate and better over time and whatever. Hypothetically, in a world where you can implement a system that works the same as it does, where you type in something into a text box and it auto moderates it. If it works the same way live over voice chat, then that makes sense because you're essentially just turning the voice chat into the same level of moderation as you would for text chat. But I think the extra step of creating the recording is what everyone's certainly dubious about. And as you mentioned, they have not had a particularly trustworthy year of a track record for this type of system. So, like, if it was a live detection and moderation system that they wanted to implement for their game, I would understand that. But this is not what this sounds like.
I think
it's the extra step that I think that sounds like the issue.
So much like a couple weeks ago, we were talking about the Nuzlocke stuff, right? When you're saying, "Hey, this thing seems fucked up," and the response is, "Don't worry, the people who are doing it are assuring you that it's not fucked up," that is in no way convincing to anyone, right? Like, if Blizzard was like, "Hey, man, I'm going to need your passport and your information and your phone number, and don't worry, we'll be really cool with it. Promise." And I go, "I don't know about that." Them saying, "No, don't worry, we're cool with it," when we've shown to not be cool with it, is not helpful. It doesn't make anybody feel better.
Yeah. So that's it. It's like if you could achieve that end result and remove the total loss of your privacy in the process, then sure, I won't have a problem with that system. But the way this sounds like it's implemented now, you can't roll that out on people. Well, you can also, if they sign the EULA and they agree to it, but don't do that. That's not cool.
In terms of recording people in order to use a robot transcription to moderate, let's assume, fine, let's just assume that the system works exactly as described and there's no privacy issues whatsoever. Wooly, have you watched YouTube videos with auto captioning on?
Not too smart.
Is it good?
Not great.
Is it good enough to tell the difference between a native Spanish speaker speaking English as their second language and forgetting the word for black in English?
It fucks up shit like that quite a bit. Or if or filler words in Cantonese, I believe, which also sound like the word for black in
the filler word in Cantonese is wild. Yeah, that is absolutely outrageous.
Absolutely. But I will say, that system, the quality of that only gets better over time. With like detection and whatever, like there's whatever YouTube is implementing, whatever Google has, and then there's other voice detection and voice to text things that are private owned versions of it, and the quality will vary and be better at certain languages and certain bits, and over time that can change quality. So
also
you can eventually get to a version of it where it'll be able to go, oh, you're speaking this dialect of this language, and then these filters will apply. Like it'll will be here very soon.
The vocal equivalent of, I don't know, I'm not sure if it was the Sari bot gentleman, but it was somebody talking about how Twitch's ban word list is not exhaustive, and Twitch recommends to just ban every version of a swear word that you see, and they use the I think they use the N-word as an example, but I'm not sure. But they were like, okay, let's assume 8 characters, like bonus characters, right? And X's, periods, whatever. How many variations can we hit? And it hits like 56 million fucking combinations that is still legible, right? Now imagine that with spoken word intonation. Like, a robot's not going to be able to handle the infinite capacity for human ingenuity in calling people all sorts of shit.
Yeah. And the I like it. There probably might require some sort of like, okay, step one is if it hears something resembling that, then it passes your account off to a human listener to
Manual
then
review.
yeah to
yeah, right. Yeah, fucking right.
live
Like there are
listening
enough
on
humans in
your
the
games.
world to manually review that.
Yeah.
No, here's the thing. Like genuinely, the more I think about it and the more I read about it, the more I talk to people in the industry, there is a genuine solution to toning down the toxicity in your game. And that is don't make a game in which the mechanics encourage people to be toxic as shit. Is like over you remember how fucked up Overwatch got? Like how absolutely like even worse than Modern Warfare 2 at its peak?
What do you mean?
Okay. Let's take League of Legends.
Because I have a very
right?
low I have a very low amount of faith that people will resist the urge to slur if this
that's not what I'm talking about.
Yeah, what do you yeah.
Let's take League of Legends. Now I know you haven't personally played League of Legends, but League is everywhere, right? You know how it works. It's a 45-minute game. You got 5 people on the team, right?
Mm-hmm.
You pick a character. Right from the get-go, you're not guaranteed your role. Then you have to counterpick. Then you get paired up with randoms who may or may not listen to you. And because of the way the game works and the way the loss penalty, like the lead penalty is instituted, if you get into a game in which people are shitheads, you're trapped with them unless you want to bomb your account. And also because of the team game aspect and the way the team fights work, everybody needs to hit a certain way. It is just built to make you fucking pissed.
Yeah, but
it is absolutely like part and parcel manufactured, every part of it to make it fucked up and toxic.
Yeah,
right?
but
Overwatch is like the shooter equivalent of they're sitting around in the Cosby room going, guys, we figured it out. We figured out how to make a first-person shooter with short games the most abjectly fucking infuriating shit in the universe. How? Because we made a counterpick game that you get stuck on rolls and you can't change. And then if people drop from your ranked match, you just gotta fucking play out the loss because you're fucked until they change that later. Overwatch is made to make people go crazy.
So the game design creating anger and frustration in people that like emphasizes that type of situation, notwithstanding, I think even in a perfectly harmonious, non-frustrating game with voice chat, you're still gonna have like instances of toxicity that you'd have to be able to handle, right? Some people are like legitimately just trolling.
Yes, there is also the number one thing you could ever do to a first-person shooter to reduce toxicity is a feature that almost every single developer has, or publisher rather, not developer, has fought against hard since like 2004, and that's the ability to run your own server.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to make sure that you actually have a really good experience? Have the ability to ban people from your fucking server. Done. I used to play Counter-Strike and Day of Defeat back in an era in which I was a tiny shithead. And do you know what happened when I was too much of a shithead? I'd get banned from a fucking server. And I was gone. It's like I never existed at all. But no, we need your phone number. We need to record your conversations.
So
like, it's bullshit.
We also talked a good bit when Apex launched and the pinging system was also introduced as something that could do wonders for just
absolutely
completely reducing the need to ever say anything into a microphone.
Yeah, because look, like when you're playing I don't know, Valorant. I don't know anything about Valorant, but I'll go older. When you're playing Counter-Strike 1.6, right? Classic Counter-Strike. You know how you tell the guy to rush the point? You fucking hit F on your keyboard and say rush the point. That's how.
A good
right?
ping,
Or V.
yeah. No, a good ping system will make life easier for probably 80 to 90% of players. Right? I feel like what I learned from doing competitive Overwatch back in the day was that, like, any team that is voice chatting together and communicating to the maximum will be sharing more information and thus be more competitive. So there will always be that above the ping system. But in terms of just someone loading
Apex,
in and not feeling like a piece of shit,
I needed
to
use voice chat ever.
And that's great. And that's ultimately what you want to do here, is just like shave all of that extra shit off and create an experience where someone can just jump in and not even have to bother with it.
I can't, like, God, if you got in and played like 10 League games, you would fucking feel it in your chest. Like, every single fucking thing about the way that game works is designed to make you lose your mind. It's crazy. It's mostly by accident, but it feels designed. It feels like a human being strapped weirdos in a room and was like, what method of character select would make you the most angry? Oh, how about this? I want to pick my character, and then the guy on the other team goes, fuck you, you don't get to play as your favorite character. Now you have 30 seconds to pick a different one.
I mean...
Fuck! That's the first thing that happens!
Like, I do understand that stack of shit built into the game. At the same time, there's something as simple as, hey, like any fighting game where people don't like the feeling of losing and also have anger issues and have an open mic on, you're going to hear it every time, constantly. Launch Killer Instinct on the Xbox One, where it automatically opened up the mic on the Kinect when you started fighting by default, and you had to, like, specifically go find a way to turn it off.
You're
heard the worst of it.
Completely right. Fighting games have just as much ability to be as fucked up as possible. And it's a good thing that there's no one you actually need to talk to when you're playing a fighting game.
Yeah.
Ever.
Yeah.
Like that's the thing. You make team games, and then you make everything about being part of that team infuriating. You have matchmaking that groups up shitheads with people who actually want to play, and try hard sweaty boys that want to fucking go as hard as they can, but suck shit. So they bring everyone down. The most toxic people I ever ran into in Overwatch was the very short time I played rank, and people were trying to try hard and fucking climb the ladder, and were pissed that people had that were like, oh, what character is this? I'll try it. Cool, haha, trying to have fun. And they'd lose their mind.
And, and the funny thing is that, like, the design in their heads version of, like, why you would open up the mic in a fighting game, like, that experience, there was one person I played against in KI when the Kinect mic was on, and as we were playing, the dude was like, oh, yo, sick, that was sick, or just like, got you there, and it was just like, oh yeah, okay, that was a fun little exchange, and at the end it was just like, oh, yo, that was a sick set, good games, man, GG's. That happened one time, and it legitimately was like, oh, that's a cool person, I would be friends with them, they're a good sport, and we had a fun ranked set out of it. Every single other match was either just the saltiest, worst, most toxic shit, babies crying, or just heavy breathing.
Yeah.
I got one experience that was the commercial experience they were looking for. And if you could make more of that, I will say it is fun when somebody is also having a good time and you're both enjoying it and going nice anti-air or whatever, but that ain't gonna fucking happen.
I have a really I hope somebody said it. I'm trying to find up, but I can't find. Somebody had a really good point to make, and I'm gonna butcher it, but you described it perfectly in just like the intended experience. So let's take Overwatch, right? What's the intended experience for Overwatch? How is it designed? Okay, well, I could tell you because people know how Blizzard designs their games. All right, so step one, LAN. LAN is how that game is designed. Spiritually and culturally and fucking practically. It's designed for LAN.
Bunch of
It's
people
designed for the
hooked
guys
up in a same room.
in the office. The maximum distance is from one end of the office to the other end of the office, with people who you assume are not going to scream racial slurs at you from across the whole office because you're in the office. But now that we know about Blizzard, who knows? Regardless, LAN, right? What's the second part of play testing a Blizzard game, Willie? It's friends and family.
Sure.
So again, you're expanding it outside the office, but it's like your cousins and your brothers and sisters and maybe your dad, all of which can be assumed to not kind of be psychos, especially since they're linked to their relative at work through their account during the playtest, right? So everything about the way the game is designed around a bunch of people who are emotionally invested in the success of the game and are ostensibly normal, right? Then they go, okay, great, let's put it out into the fucking wild. Every single thing that came up to try and fight toxicity in Overwatch, such as voice controls or voice line spamming or certain spray types overlapping on each other, or all of it, or picking characters in ranks so the other person, all of that was after launch because it wasn't considered what a bunch of psychos the general public is when they deal with it, which is stupid because these are the people who worked on World of Warcraft. They have the biggest shithead petri dish that anyone has ever had, ever in the history. There are epidemiologists that worked on COVID that studied the fucking WoW plague. And now that's a seasonal event. Mm-hmm. There's never been more data on people being shitheads, but then the game isn't actually designed to deal with any of that. And it still isn't. Instead, the solution is, well, what if we just recorded everything you said and then had a robot decide whether or not to get you in trouble, and we promise we'll delete them? It's nonsense. It's fucking complete garbage.
Yeah, well, because I'm just thinking of how like you're saying about like the way that's designed. You fast forward to the title screen of any of these games on release, and it's the big play button, which is play against the internet. Like anytime the massive emphasis is like you're supposed to go into the wild and hear the worst of it. That's the expected experience you're going to have onboarding into any one of these games. I don't know if the technology to fix toxicity, I don't know when or where or how that'll come about. I feel like you can, like you said, you can do things design wise, but at some point it's going to be more that you're going to need more than that. You're going to need to do the equivalent of a chat, servers, whatever, all that stuff that helps too. And a combination of all that can probably create a Swiss cheese effect of reducing the overall shitty experience some person has onboarding onto one of these games.
So one of the most interesting things that ever happened was, and I wish I knew, if somebody's like a big Dota and League of Legends head, DM me because I need some background and history to talk about that, to find out more. But the most interesting thing I ever saw about toxicity was Valve talking about Dota, and they were like, "Wow, we think Dota is the best game ever, but fuck, this is a shithole." Mm-hmm. It's a shithole to play in. And so they were going like, can we design around this? Are there not technical solutions, but are there literal this, toggle that, whatever, that will help it? And the number one thing, they got this right away. The ability to use voice chat by default going from on to off.
Yeah.
Represented the most enormous change in the feel of the game ever.
Yeah.
That's it. Just make it so that you have to go into the options and turn the microphone
manually on
instead of it being on by default. Now, all of a sudden, the people that are playing and losing their fucking minds screaming Well, their mic probably isn't on.
Thing is, though, is that like in that hypothetical that we're just talking about, where it's like you have all these systems in place or whatever, the bottom line will always come down to, yeah, but whether it's text or a voice or a message board or Reddit or Twitter, someone can just type N, capital N,
Oh yeah,
and press enter, or just say N. And like
so,
that on its own is just, you can't nerf that.
So hey,
that is what it is, man. Forever.
You want to
Life
talk
finds
about,
a way.
You want to talk about toxicity in games technologically. Let's talk about Modern Warfare 2 coming out soon. Do you know what Modern Warfare 2 has decided to add to the game? What its big multiplayer feature for communication is?
Mm-hmm.
Proximity chat.
Automatically, as you get close to somebody. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So that you can hear them coming around the talking their comms. There is a TikTok. I will try and find it, Wooly, for you, because I realize that you would get a kick out of it. It's a black guy playing, I think it was Warzone, but I'm not sure. It might have been Modern Warfare 2's beta or Modern Warfare 1. And he's running the N-word Modern Warfare speed run.
I saw that.
You saw that?
Yes. Yeah.
And
yeah.
It is like
any world percent.
He gets it down to sub 1 second
Yep.
upon entering a lobby by just saying the phrase, I'm black.
Yep. What's up, guys?
Like
hey.
he's putting BLM in his, like, he starts off by doing quick kills at the beginning of the match, and then he's like, what if I put BLM in my tag?
How can we speed this up? Yes, absolutely.
Right? Like, at the end of the day, the fact that it's people that are not standing next to you and can't get punched in the mouth for being rude assholes is going to be a serious detriment. But there are ways to design around it without me having to give you my phone number and letting you record all my conversations. Like, this Overwatch news at the end of the day might as well just be a big tagline that says, hey, use Discord.
Just, this ain't it. That's not the system
just
to do it.
Use Discord.
Find another way. Anyways, so that was only the second story of the.
Okay, hold up. I gotta take the dog out.
All right. There's more. There's more Overwatch.
Yeah, there's
so
more. There's
all right.
more.
BRB. All right, one more on the Blizzard train.
Oh, goody.
And you're going to need to break this one down because it looks fairly complicated.
I can do that. I have the data.
It says here that we now know the ethnicity tier list from the diversity scores that Blizzard was using from the story about a month or two ago.
So I'm going to take this away. I hope that's all right with you, Wooly. So first of all, big shout outs to Melee Master 500 from the Two Best Friends Play subreddit. So this is a current exclusive
world premiere
from our subreddit because somebody there found the time. So the long and short of it is that we all saw the diversity chart stuff from Blizzard a while ago, and those were coming out of GDC talks, and we got the panel for, like, I think it was Farah. No, was that the old gun lady? Was that Farah?
Oh no, Anna.
Yeah, Anna. We saw Anna's stats, right? And so we're like, okay, well, what the hell is Winston? What's Bastion? Whatever. So they dug deeper, and they found a paper in which they were able to find a big old picture that had every single base Overwatch character on it. And the data was there's like 4 little charts associated with it, and it's got all sorts of colored graphs with body type diversity, ethnic diversity, cultural diversity, etc. And by going through painstakingly and then mapping it to the heroes in question, they were able to figure out, with a certain margin of error, of course, what races, disabilities, genders, cultures, countries of origin, etc., ranked at what levels according to Blizzard's internal metrics. So there is a no shit tier list that they compiled and provided, which has a lot of fascinating fucking and inconsistent data. It's great.
And this is coming from a document that had the full list?
This is coming from Visualizing Diversity, a character design tool for creative reflection.
The GDC
from Michael
talk.
Jacobson at the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, which is MIT.
Okay.
Which goes over it and describes it and has the thing in question. Excuse me just one second.
Okay, I see. So there was the blog post which introduced the story. There was the GDC talk, which was.
But here's the academic paper.
The actual paper, yes, the research paper.
Right.
Gotcha. Okay.
So, what do we get? Well, first of all, remember how weird it was that Soldier 76 was suddenly bisexual?
Mm-hmm.
Well, he's not in the original drafts of the game.
Mm.
So remember when it was like, it really feels like Blizzard is like making characters more representative or more diverse as a smokescreen. This definitely leads to that conclusion.
I feel like I need my lab coat and glasses as I'm scrolling through. Okay.
But let's just do it. So again, these are the information compiled by Melee Master 500, posted a couple hours ago. So ethnicity. Orisa and Zenyatta max it out. I believe that's because they're from the fictional Omnic country in the game. That makes sense. So they're in S tier. Well, who's in A tier for ethnicity? Koreans, Japanese people, Chinese folk, and Arabs. Well, who's in B? Caucasian European, Australian, Russian, and Mexicans. What's in F? British and American Caucasians, and weirdly enough, the Monkey Man and the Robot Tank are also F for ethnicity.
Okay. White European, white Australian, white Russian. B, 3 points.
Yeah.
White American, British American, F, 0 points. Got it. Okay.
So already it's getting
All
really
right.
interesting because one, fictional ethnicities are more diverse than real ones.
Yes, naturally, of course.
The whites have been separated according to how familiar the team is with them,
Right.
being Brits and Americans, and robot and monkey person fail, despite those being not common ethnicities. Robot is not a common ethnicity, which is extra weird because the other two robots max out the scale.
So
that's weird.
So the initial theory of points are entirely based on distance from Irvine, California is 100% confirmed.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's get into nationality. Now, this is, I mean, it's not ethnicity. It's your country of origin, right? This has my favorite result in the whole thing because it's distance from StarCraft. S for nationality: Japan, China, Sweden, Nigeria, Australia, India, France, Russia, and the Zenyatta's origin, which they're not sure on. So no real consistency here, because you have like Sweden and Australia. Australia is an S rank for weirdo nationality. Okay. But what's wild is that sitting down at A tier, below all of them, below every other Asian country, at B is Korea. Because of StarCraft. Because Koreans are more familiar
to
Blizzard.
Oh, yeah, you know. We knew a bunch of you guys. That ain't special.
Down at B, you have Mexico, Brazil, which is apparently only according to later patches, and Egypt. There's a note here that doesn't have explanation. Egypt was changed throughout
Greatly
patches.
Increased in later patches. Initially lower value. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. All right, and then at F for nationality is American.
It must have been
British,
below B, right?
Yeah. American, British, Winston again, and Numbanian, which is the fictional Omnic city, which is wild because being from the fictional Omnic city / country in nationality hits a 0, but in ethnicity tops out the scale.
But it's the African city, right? It's
yeah.
Okay. Fictional city in Africa.
It's the fictional
one. Okay. All right.
Okay. The gender tier list. There are only 2 scores.
Yes.
There's S and F.
Okay.
S contains everything other than men.
Yes.
And F is men.
Correct. Yes. Okay. 3 points or 0.
Because it is a binary scale, this means that any change to the ordering is just putting different groups at different rankings. There's only it's like a pass fail. Are men diverse? No. Then there's all the other ones.
Got it.
Like that's how I see this being written down. Are they a guy or are they one of the other ones?
Yes, and that is worth half the points of being, let's say, Australian.
Yeah.
Which is,
but also the funniest thing is that the 2 that are listed are non-binary and women, which means that if you're a binary woman or a non-binary male, you have the same score. But a binary woman is the same level of diversity as a non-binary woman, which is okay because they're just not a guy. It's a mess. It's literally the guys in the office and the other ones.
Yeah, it's the outlier. Yeah, correct. Right. Checks out.
All right.
Checks out.
Sexual orientation. Again, not heterosexual. Hits S.
7 whole points.
Yeah.
Kay.
7 to 0
Kay.
for not heterosexual, and 0 is for heterosexual or maybe the robots, because the robots
Asexual.
they hit 0 because they're not.
Okay.
Right. I mean, they're robots. Right. Disability. This is the most confusing by far. By far. Okay. At S.
Ooh, those are big. Those are big points.
Okay. At S with 8 points is Torbjorn for robot eye and robot arm. Significantly disabled.
That's a huge point.
Doomfist has a big robot arm at 7 points, but Symmetra's autism also classifies her as disabled as having a missing limb. But not having 2 missing limbs. Gets even weirder because at B with 6 points is Genji, who's a full cyborg.
The entire body. Having 1 is more points than having your entire body replaced as a cyborg.
Okay. C has 5 points with missing 1 eye as Ana. Radiation exposure at D with Roadhog. And then the most confusing one, peg leg and robot arm, is an F. Sorry, an E for Junkrat. Junkrat has the least usable limbs of any Overwatch character. And is being labeled as significantly less disabled than a lady with autism.
But also radiation exposure?
He has a peg leg! He has a peg leg! For fuck's sake!
Is, like, radiation exposure is 4 points?
Yeah. Unless it's obesity.
Is that manifested in any, like...
I'm shrugging. And, I'll get into there near the end. You have body type. S rank at 10 points. This is the highest thing you can get in the whole chart. Is body type of robot, centaur, or gorilla.
Fuck yeah, let's go.
Those are diverse body types.
Fuck all the cowards.
Having
That's
a
what it's
gorilla
about.
body or a
robot
full
centaur.
non-humanoid.
Hell yeah. 10 points.
Okay.
Let's get it.
A for body type is stout, overweight, peg leg, and muscular women. So fat guys and buff ladies together at 6 points.
How buff, though?
Very buff.
Very buff.
So like Zarya buff.
Yes.
Right? Okay. At B with 3 points is slightly muscular woman or not slim and curvy, which is just May.
You lose 3 points for not being buff enough.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And then down at 0 is traditionally sexy, curvy female body type, and as is the nature with this chart, incredibly bizarrely, Bastion's robotic tank body is hitting a 0 points for body type diversity.
If Bastion had 4 legs in tank mode, that would be a 10.
It would be the most bodily diverse. But as they have treads, and treads are a common body type feature amongst humans.
That's a 0.
Yes.
That's a 0.
But do you know what it really is?
Too many employees in Irvine have treads.
You know what I'm actually thinking? The reason why Bastion is hitting 0 on all these is because tanks.
We know what a tank is.
Are more popular in games.
Yeah.
As opposed to a robot set. Like, that's it.
We've seen it.
And then last but not least is age. Are you old as shit? You get 10 points for elderly.
Yep.
Are you a teen? You get 6 points.
Okay.
Are you in your young 20s or in your 40s and 50s? You get 4 points. And F for anyone in their 20s and 30s. And again, robots. But not Zenyatta. Not Zenyatta.
So it radiates outward from like 25 to 30, and the further
Yeah.
away you get from that. Okay, that's the origin
So
point.
with this data, you can take the most cynical fucking possible approach to any character in Overwatch. You can look at Symmetra, who I believe she's from India, right? But she has a classical slim and curvy body type, and her disability is autism. Sorry, no, it wasn't originally. You remember how it became autism? How it wasn't there at launch?
Bump some points.
So Symmetra was slim, curvy, attractive Indian lady, and that was it. Oh, she missing an arm? Oh, she's one arm. Okay. So she was probably at the lower level of the points. But you give her autism with a tweet, now she's got 7 more points. That's a whole category 1.
You know what's really
Bam!
surprising is I remember when there was a Twitter discussion about Lucio's art, making it seem as if Lucio, both of his legs were robotic.
Yes, it does look like that in a bunch of his art.
And so that was a theory that was spreading quite a bit, and then they deconfirmed it and went, no, Lucio has both of his legs, and I guess like behind the scenes,
right?
there was
He's black. He's from Brazil.
There was a point balance system that was out of whack. If he had both of his legs missing, he would have been way too high. So they had to bring it back down.
You got to rebalance the whole system.
Absolutely. So no, even though it looks like it in the art, don't do that.
So, new Overwatch 2 character.
He was getting way too powerful. We had to nerf it. We had to bring it back down.
Sojourn. Okay. So I look at this was the most. I brought this up when the Overwatch 2 stuff happened, and I vividly remember. Okay, Sojourn is the new Canadian Overwatch 2 character, right? She's a black lady from I think Toronto, right? And she is a neck down robot. Like, she is a full cybernetic person, right? And I'm looking at this character, and I'm looking at a character in which, if she was not a full-blown robot, she would just be a Canadian black lady, which fails the criteria. So you need to make her a full robot.
Let me take a look here. Because have I seen her?
Here, I have her wiki open. Here, I'll send it to you.
Because I'm assuming that's a Sojourner Truth reference. Oh, her. Yes. I did see this.
Right?
Yeah.
So she's got... And the robot's a little muscular. And it's like... So, well, let's take all of this. Right? All this information. And let's fucking talk about Kiriko. The Genji ninja healer with her Kitsune spirit. Did you read the goddamn post they put out?
Nothing.
It was fucking hilarious. It was like, I love playing with my fox spirit and going down and having the dango at the shrine, and it was like it was written by an algorithm. It, like. It's fucking cringe and weeb.
What's her score?
Oh, I don't know.
I thought we were gonna get to the score.
So the only issue here
we don't know
is that
like
the paper only shows off the original batch of Overwatch.
Yeah.
Cards.
Okay. Because 6 points for being Japanese, 5 in ethnicity, 6 points in nationality.
So she's already good to go.
3 points for woman. We don't know her orientation, so there's a 7-point deviation. And we don't have any. Has she been exposed to radiation?
I don't think so.
Okay, so
But
then
here's my
we're gonna go
favorite
with
part.
0.
Here's my favorite part. You can look at Kiriko, right? You can look at that character, and you can use this math to determine her level of disability and
Mm-hmm.
sexual orientation
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
from
Mm-hmm.
the stuff you do know,
S-
right? Because she has lots of points for being from Japan.
I
She
mean,
has lots.
so after the initial story, the initial blog post, like I said, and then there was the GDC talk, and now you've got
Yeah.
the academic paper. Like, it's gonna be a matter of months until we just get the original Excel file.
Yeah.
Because it seems to be like there's way more uploaded proof of this entire metric system up there before that blog post, which was like the 10th step on the way.
It's one of these incredible things where, like, in
Measurehead
Street Fighter,
leaves a paper trail.
Yeah. In Street Fighter, you can make a joke about how Brazilians are naturally electric.
Electric, yes, yes.
Right? And Chinese people know how to do dive kicks.
And
right?
in Netherrealm, black people love wearing yellow.
They love wearing yellow.
Can't get enough of it.
It's a complementary color, and they
wearing
know
it right now.
And
what's up?
You look at this, and it's a situation where you have this incredibly number-oriented thing that boils down to, in Overwatch, Japanese people can wall jump. Every person from Japan in Overwatch can wall jump.
Yeah.
You just learn it in school.
Well, in Guilty Gear, being Japanese is a disease, so that is a step up, to be fair. It's
so, like,
confirmed.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
And what's really funny is that I'm really sure that somebody at some point really did mean the best for this kind of metric, right? And while I bring up Brazilians are electric for Capcom as ha ha ha, we know Capcom doesn't use any metric based.
This is finding the documents that have a little lightning bolt on the map in Capcom's offices.
But at the same time, you can't at the same time remember, like, hey, let's go look at old concept art for Street Fighter 2 characters and see that Blanca looks very different.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
So, like, we talked about it when it originally broke, and, like, it feels like somebody had a really genuine idea that this would help out and kind of course correct for the existing culture. And what you saw is that all instruments of capitalism, even those that are anti-capitalist in their nature, become subsumed by capitalism in order to fulfill capitalist ends. So the people who made this probably thought the best, and then they gave it to their bosses, and their bosses realized, I can make a sexy lady as long as I give her a robot arm and autism. Fucking sick.
I mean, I think it's as simple as, like, you just watched, like, a horseshoe go down, where everyone that was, like, thinking about that had some really like long meetings, and they walked out feeling really good about the numbers they came up with, because they argued for those numbers. They really thought about how far things were from California, and they were like, damn, that is 7 points worth of distance from California. And like it just I think you just horseshoe completely.
So we're gonna
it's the go on, it's fine.
We're gonna see an Overwatch character that is just straight up big titty goth GF, right? Just 100% some dude's fucking wank fuel, big titty goth GF. And then what you're gonna see is you're gonna see that character get revealed, and they're gonna be in a wheelchair, and somebody behind the scenes is gonna go, got it in, nobody complain, I could beat off all day. Like, look at Widowmaker, she's just blue, she's just a sexy French lady, but she's blue.
Blizzard on the street corner going, "Welcome to Revachol," to everybody walking by. Yeah. No, what I was gonna say is just it's that thing where like, you've got the like, uh, 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 you've got the people that are like, yeah, what we need to do is create our cleansed ethno state where there's only people like us, right? And
Yeah,
then
right. Okay.
and then you've got the people who are like, yeah, we want to create pure like there's like you have your white nationalists and then you got your like we want to create a pure black society where we have only black
Right.
people here and we want to like separate and have be our own thing, and it's just like, yeah, they love that. They fucking super are down with that idea. You could probably cooperate with with your idea of like, yeah, we want to completely separate from each other, coming from two different sides of it, and the end result was the same shit. You know, it's fucking crazy how you can just fly all the way around, and with your intentions being on one side, end up at the exact same fucking place. Boy, is that data not gonna fucking go away anytime soon for Blizzard.
Well, no, because now there's enough that you can break down new characters, and you can figure out what the average they're trying to hit is. Like that's the one piece of data that Melee Master 500 did not include, and it's probably the one that would be the most interesting, which is what's the average number?
Mm.
Is the attempt, what is the baseline? Get everybody up over 22? 30?
Above 10.
Right?
I mean, if worse comes to worse, you can always sprinkle a little radiation poisoning and get a nice little 4-point bump. Like, you don't have to do much for that one.
The absolute best part about this is visible minorities versus invisible minorities, right? So being black is visible, being gay is not, right? And the discovery that the invisible minority criteria, such as sexual orientation, gender identity, mental illness, and non-visual disability, can be sprinkled on afterwards. Like sprinkles on your cake. Not to your taste?
Garnish.
What if we just sprinkled a little obsessive compulsive? There is going to be a fucking character that looks like it's going to be like some hot lady and have nothing diverse about them at all, and they're going to come out and be like, this character has obsessive compulsive disorder. And no, it's not in any of her voice lines.
But it's like, anyway, it's just you have to sit down and decide, does being blue make you worth more or worth less than being black? Like, what does that actually mean? You know? Like,
Yeah, well, yeah, you know what it means.
So, all right.
I mean, we're already at the point where I'm looking at this data, and it's like, yeah, no. They looked at Soldier 76 and went, what do we do? And then they went online and said, he sucked a dick one time! Yeah!
I'm not a young man anymore.
Oh.
All right, Blizzard. Solid. And
there needs to be
like the little bits like Korean coming in between the two groupings are like painfully exposing.
Like the results
those are the nerve endings being shown to the air.
The nationality chart of Asia, Korea, white people that have an accent is like, oh, because Koreans are like white people that have a bigger accent. They're not like the other Asians. I don't know, but they're far.
We know.
I've been to Korea.
We know.
Said guy putting the numbers into the chart.
We work with them a lot. We know those guys. Yeah, totes. All right. Incredible work.
Blizzard just.
I
don't want to play their games anymore, but I'm still getting tons of enjoyment.
Yeah, no, you just you can pump as new characters come out, just pump them in. Like,
Yeah.
and that's enough data to like create the actual website, right?
Yes.
Where you just pump the
Absolutely.
character in and get the image generated to spit out. The pieces are all there for sure. All right. Couple other things. I mean, I know it's not gonna, we're not gonna hit as positive an announcement as the ethnicity tier list, but some cool stuff. I want to award a Patchy award to Rumbleverse, who just put out their first set of patch notes.
It includes the phrase "degenerate tactic" in their patch notes.
The Rumbleverse patch for the mid-season update has come, and they're great. More than just a balanced patch. There's a bunch of new stuff in the game that changes the game quite drastically. And I jumped in, I messed around a little bit with the new stuff. Awesome.
It feels different.
Awesome stuff. Real fun. Yeah. So for starters, they've added a dive kick, straight out of dive kick. Press the button.
That's a move you have to go and get, right?
Yeah. And once you do, it's a jump and a kick automatically. But if you time it, you can do a fast one by mashing twice, or you can press the kick button at the top of the jump, and then it'll do a perfect dive kick. So fun little element to that. They added a purple tier Izuna drop, and now you can.
That was super weird that it wasn't there.
Yeah, there was good Izuna drop and great Izuna drop, and that was it. And now they have epic Izuna drop, and like you can aim all of them as soon as you grab the person, so full control over where you want to drop them. They added a drink that fills up a third of your super meter.
Yep.
They added golf clubs. New kind of weapon.
They made it so that if you miss your super, it eats a third of your bar.
Yes, so you can't just spam it and hope for the best every time.
Confirm your super.
Right. Furthermore, popping super, landing it, and immediately getting super 2-3 hits after that was very abusable. We learned that on video when with Esteban we saw like, oh, you can just do the fast super pop as soon as someone whiffs, grab them, do big kills, and then 2, maybe 3 hits later, you're back up to full. So now it's going to cost you a little bit more as time goes on. If you subsequently try to grab more, you'll lose more super meter. So golf has a cool little the golf swing. When you tap, it's going to bring up a little like Mario Golf meter, and there's a perfect spot to hit. And when you land that, you knock them as far as possible, which is like super far actually.
Yeah, if you're crazy far, it's like a giant swing distance.
If you're near if you're near an edge, you're gone for sure. They added different tiers of like bats, and there's a cricket bat and chair and all that stuff.
There's a keyblade.
Then they added a fucking keyblade, and the keyblade is not just a keyblade. It does.
It has a full Kingdom Hearts 2 moveset.
It changes your character into a Kingdom Hearts character. Essentially, you have
Strike Raid.
Yeah, so you get to do a ground combo that launches into an air combo with the keyblade. You hover, you spin. You can actually hold B in the air to just fly through the fucking stage with it, and drains your stamina. But as long as you have stamina bar, you can free fly. It's nuts. Obviously it breaks after doing a full combo with it. But
it has really high durability.
I was able to do a full, what was it, like 6 hits. I was able to do like light launch, heavy, light, and then it breaks in midair, and then you can do a grab right after in midair. So like you can go right into a super or something like that. It's nuts. Fucking full on keyblade in the game. Any
changes to grabs?
Yes. You can now do the default grab. Is the startup on the default grab is the fastest grab in the game now. It's way faster than anything else.
Wow.
And
who would have thought that they should make the grab faster?
So the idea was kind of like, as they and I mean, the patch notes are doing a great job of explaining the reasoning behind everything, and it was that like the special grabs were looking the exact same speed as the default grab. Why would you ever do it? What would the incentive be to do that as a dedicated button when you have a special grab? So in this case, it's like because it's faster, you know.
Yeah, and now there's a play between if there's a whiff or something and you need a grab to come out fast and be more or less guaranteed, toss out your default. And if you're trying to prepare or mind game somebody to get a bigger grab off, that works. So they fill two different roles. It also massively boosts that upgrade that increases the damage of your default grab. Like that one was one of those perks is like, but I'm not going to use the default grab. Well, now you actually are.
They changed the Irish whip to be a different animation, so you can tell, you know, when that is happening, and it looks different. They also they fixed a bunch of like buggy, weird interactions with stuff. Some OTGs that were not intended that you could keep doing. They fixed there's people that will often just bounce on cars forever towards the end of the circle, and you could just elbow drop forever and waste time. Now, as soon as you elbow drop onto a bouncing car, you flip out, you lose the move right away. So you can't do.
This was the degenerate tactic.
The degenerate tactic of bouncing super high forever has been taken out essentially. Also, they explained how meditate is way strong in certain final rings, which is the ability
Sometimes it's useless.
Sometimes it depends, but like in a lot of situations, you want to have that perk for a better shot at winning. Almost every like time, most of the times I've won, it's been with it for sure. But meditate is
the first game I won. I meditated inside a bush, and my character was completely inside the geometry. Couldn't see me at all.
So hiding in bushes is an intended design thing. However, there was a graphic that's supposed to play that shows you leaves shaking. That was really hard to see. So they made that bigger, and now you can actually see a little clue of when someone's hiding in a bush. So you weren't supposed to be completely invisible. It was intended. However, now the actual little thing, leaves popping out, will give you away a little bit more, obviously. Meditate, they said we want it so that yes, you can, but it's the ability to hide and heal, right? If you stand still, you get a passive heal. And they've made it so that now if nobody fights each other in the final ring, if no one attacks anybody before it was every 10 seconds the ring would get smaller, so they've made it 7 seconds. So that means meditate will
get a lot smaller, a lot faster.
Which it already kind of did in many circumstances, and the higher tier championships, because I'm in the higher leagues, dude. The circle closes insanely fast. You get to the tightest size with like 10, 15 people almost. Like it's crazy. So that's a smart thing, you know. And they improved the HUD a bunch as well. So a really nice overhaul.
Last but definitely not least, the thing that I've noticed, I played a couple games after the update, the single biggest change in your day-to-day is that everything does tons of guard break damage now.
Moves were rebalanced around that too. So 100 hand slap is now a dedicated guard breaker. It was supposed to be before, but now it's emphasized.
The default combo does like twice or even 3 times as much stamina damage. There used to not be a very good reason to get the stamina upgrade, and now it's incredibly vital because you get guard broken in like a second.
So they also didn't want people to just stand and block for all neutral play, and so this is kind of helping to get rid of that. They mentioned it as well. Also, they nerfed tackle and Stone Cold Stunner because those things were just insanely fast and unreactable. So they made them a little bit slower, and like when you go and then you see the whiff animation, it's like, oh yeah, that's more in line with the other running grabs and stuff, you know. So having those two is like an essential final circle skill.
I'm thrilled with the state of the game now because when I was playing it in the first part of this chapter, we talked about it on the podcast. I was really frustrated at how effective standing and blocking and then rolling on reaction to throws and just turtling nonstop, because it really felt like you could regain stamina faster than you would get it spent. That is definitely not the case now.
Yeah. Also, you could attack sooner than you could do other actions out of a roll. They've standardized it so that you can no longer get an early attack out, which made it so that trying to punish someone's roll sometimes sucked because that action had a different rhythm compared to everything else. And then a huge change as well is the purple books and moves are now much rarer. So
Okay, sure.
before you'd start, and it was almost like ignore anything that's not purple because
Oh yeah, because you'd get a purple one
you'd
if
get
you
one
after like 4 or 5 boxes.
exactly, and so now they're actually much more rare. So you have to work the greens and blues a bit, which is lower level stuff. The blue, which is the medium level poison mist, also staggers you but doesn't drop you to the floor. So that's gonna use the same. It's gonna have the same usage as the weaker one, so that now you can use it to open up for a combo. Because before it would stagger and then drop, which was worse than the weaker version that made it just a stagger. Really good change list, really good stuff, good mid, and good explanations on all of their decisions. Fuck yeah,
Good
with
game
that.
made better.
Good job, Rumbleverse. Hell yeah. Um, and then like you go down to the bottom of it, and then they get into even further gameplay balance change discussion with numbers up and like just full transparency. Talking about the damage on block and damage on stamina and everything. Like really, just like, yep, we want to tell you what we're thinking and why. Which if you think back to like the KI character balance streams that Keats used to do, it's like, yeah, why not just tell people exactly why you're doing things? It makes everyone a better player.
It feels good to see the reason. Feels
Um,
nice. And
yeah,
it's great to see like, hey, we changed block stun and grab timings because Pat's a genius and he said we should do that. It was great to see those in the patch notes.
confirmed.
They should really call them the Pat notes.
The Keyblade is kind of insane.
Oh my god.
Yep, we pushed past it. The Keyblade is really insane because it actually is a separate character you're fighting.
It's really weird.
It feels as if a different character has shown up on the map, and like if you can get that from them, fucking do it. You might not even want to break it because the ability to fly is nuts.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that's Rumbleverse.
It's obvious that they're going to be putting more silly gimmick weapons that are actually fucking awesome in the game.
Hell yeah, and use puns for everything. It's the key pipe or whatever it's called.
Yeah, it's technically a pipe.
Yeah, and the attack you do with the chair when you're running, that's a big burning running chair attack, is called Charging Star.
Of course it is.
So, anyway, other patches as well came out. So, Darkest Dungeon 2 just announced the Altar of Hope.
I forgot that game existed.
This is the piecemeal partial release thing, But again, it works. It depends for some games if you're going about it a certain way. Like we were just talking about Ultra Kill and how Chapter 1 came out and was great, and then now there's Act 2 and you do it in this kind of way. With Darkest Dungeon, the caravan aside, I really did enjoy it. So the new thing they've added with the Altar of Hope is the ability to permanently increase your runs over time in a much more roguelike way. You get these consumable items which you'll be able to place into either increasing your character, making your characters better for a bit, making the items better, stagecoach. You can improve a ton of things, and like as you do subsequent runs, you build up your torches, and as long as you don't die and lose them all, you can permanently save those upgrades. You also now have the ability to, when you get to an inn, you can decide end the campaign here, save my torches. I'm gonna just call that a good run. We did it, which is great because I've done runs of Darkest Dungeon 2 where I get to an inn and I'm like, I barely made it. I do not have the strength to make it further than this, I kind of would want to just call it, you know? So in this case, you get that the torches to use now. So you don't lose them if you push on to the final boss, though. That's you get to keep whatever you made up to that point. And then the other thing is the new character, which is really just a returning character, Bounty Hunter, is in.
Oh, cool.
Bounty Hunter is kind of like an improved version of how he worked in the first game, but really fucking sick system for how he joins the party. So because the Bounty Hunter is, just freelancing, you don't have him join from the stagecoach when you initially create the party. You meet him at an inn randomly. There's a chance of running into the Bounty Hunter, and if you hire him for a price, he'll replace someone on your squad. He'll have great stats, he'll have great stuff. He's joining you temporarily, and
because he's a bounty hunter.
He's here to get paid. And because he's, a merc that you're adding to the team, he does not give a fuck about bickering and friendship and making buddies or making enemies.
Oh, that's great.
So the affinity of the party doesn't matter to the bounty hunter because he's there to get paid. So good.
That's perfect.
Really, really cool implementation. Why would he care? Why would he give a fuck? So, the Altar of Hope for Darkest Dungeon 2. Looking to go check that out. Waiting for, the next chapter update for sure, but that's a nice halfway. And you want to make subsequent runs easier so that you can unlock a lot of those class moves, because it takes fucking forever if you're just grinding out one character to all the memory towers, And then, just a couple other little announcements. There was CE Otaku this weekend where a couple of fighting game announcements were made. One of the big ones, Guilty Gear Xrd Rev 2 is getting rollback as well.
Hooray!
As well as Rev 1, surprisingly. I did not see that coming because Xrd is new enough to kind of be a competitor product to Strive.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't have thought they would just be like, yeah, sure, fuck it. But Arxis is doing it, and that's an extremely consumer-friendly move to just be like, yeah, this just came out, it's pretty fresh, but we figured it out. Roll back and everything. Super good.
Does Blaze Blue have it yet?
Yeah. They added it to.
Then they're done.
BB Tag and Blaze Blue. Done. Yep, they did it.
Yeah, all right, they're done.
Well, not Grand Blue, so,
they're done, man.
They're done. So Rev 1 and Rev 2 getting it, fucking really cool, and now everyone who I suggest there should be, of course, everyone should be able to get the rollback update on PC, of course, for the game. But you should have to show proof of your degen status by screen capping the tweet where you complained about Strive and talked about how legit Xrd was, as well as the tweet where you complained about Xrd, saying that only Accent Core was legit. If you can provide proof with both of those tweets, which we know you tweeted out, then you should be allowed to access rollback.
It is the way of the Guilty Gear player to be upset. There is no happiness for them.
Proof of salt at old thing and new thing, and then proof of loving new thing more and hating even newer thing, hand in hand, and you'll get the whole world. You get everything.
I think the funniest thing is people who weren't all that into Xrd, but are like, oh, finally, I get to play a Guilty Gear game where I don't have to deal with happy chaos. And it's like, do you think that Xrd is going to save you from that nonsense?
Hi, my name's Elfelt. Welcome. Yeah, people are going to learn. People will learn. Guilty Gear in all directions is just, it's not going to get better, guys. The further back you go, the worse it gets. Every Everything is coming up Guilty Gear soon. The missing link, and then we'll be done. We'll be actually done. DNF is getting some updates as well. They announced they're going to be, whatever, announcement to the announcement. More details come in, but they're going to do a balance update as well. That wasn't just a little mini thing, and this time they've confirmed it. We're going to balance it and give everyone only buffs. Only buffs incoming. They don't care. They don't care. This is as intended, as designed. Too bad.
Oh, man.
More hammer loops. More wind fucking bullshit. Like, more.
That's the funniest thing in the world.
It's a screenshot of the dev, and he's saying, thank you guys for playing the game and everything. And just, what's the exact wording?
I love it.
Yeah.
So happy.
Our direction is to add only buffs for all characters. Oh, just the absolute audacity, man. Amazing.
I feel like this character isn't strong enough.
So, if you have any complaints, just look forward to getting some bullshit to level the playing field. Nothing's getting nerfed.
I love it. It's the best thing I've ever heard.
Fucking hilarious. And then they dropped the Team Samurai trailer for KOF 15, and Darley's there. That's sick. That's fucking cool.
Hooray.
Something actually interesting to note is the particle effects on Nakoruru and some of those characters look better than the explosions and particles in the base game. So they're changing the visual style, and they're improving that with the new characters as well, which is cool because that stuff is always needed a bit of work. I do miss the old days of the KOF 13 burning GeoCities GIF on top of the game. That was the best. But and I mean that's pretty much it. They said that they're going to show off as well at New York Comic Con. They're going to show off the Mario movie trailer. So
goody.
That's coming October 6th.
Goody. Oh, I can't wait. Oh, I can't wait. Oh man, I can't wait.
It's coming. I'm predicting it's probably going to leave everyone going, yeah, all right. That might be fine. It's gonna land and just be like, I'm thinking they're gonna put a lot of effort into making sure that you avoid a Sonic trailer release nightmare, and you kind of just land with a, yeah, okay, and everyone will be doing it and convincing you that they're doing it, and Chris Pratt will just kind of be there. Charlie Day and Jack Black. And, we'll be doing their best Luigi and Bowser, and it'll all be happening. And then Chris Pratt will kind of just be there.
I like, nothing in this world would make me happier right now than like a video of Chris Pratt like having angry sex with a lasagna and like swearing at it.
I mean, we're not
just whatever fucking.
We're not there yet. We're almost there.
Inflammatory, fucking nonsensical anti-Italian shit, like right before the movie trailer comes out.
And then, you see, I thought you were making a Garfield joke.
No. Oh, God. Fuck. I am making a Garfield joke, aren't I?
I didn't know you were going for the Italian route. But that works. Yeah, all right. I see. I get it. There we go.
And then that guy in Sopranos can say it's anti-Italian discrimination, a reference I don't understand.
There you go.
Because I never watched this show.
Yeah, that's coming up. And then, of course, lest we forget, we're also going to have to see the Charles Martinet cameo, which, again, to call it, I'm saying either the TV mascot version of Mario, which you then zoom out to reveal that the real Mario, which is Chris Pratt, is like, I don't talk like that. Why would they do that? Wow. Or it'll be like Shaft, and they'll just go for the full-on Charles Martinet is actually Mario Grandpa Senior,
Yeah.
and the new Mario is the young Chris version of him.
You know what they should do? You know what they should really do? They
All
should
right.
be like, and this was your grandpa, and have a goddamn photo on a table of Lou Albano from the Super Mario Super Show.
That would be unbelievable. That would be so good. That would be like yes, that's succeeding if they do shit like that. Absolutely. Hell yeah, fantastic, good bit. Let's take some letters. It's getting late.
Hey, if you want to send in a letter, don't mail it because we're not going to read it. There's nowhere to mail it to. But send an email to castlesuperbeastmail@gmail.com. That's castlesuperbeastmail@gmail.com.
And then next to Captain Lou Albano is John Leguizamo.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
All the way in. Lean all the way in. Mm-hmm.
It's fucking so stupid.
All right. We got one coming in from X who says, "Hi, Independence Wooly and Revolution Pat. Last week was Mexican Independence Day, and I have a funny anecdote, urban myth, about a Mexican hymn, the Mexican hymn. In one of the first lines, a part goes, Mas si osare un extraño enemigo profanar con su planta tu suelo, which translates would be something like, if a strange enemy would dare to profane our land with their souls. But the way it's said, it makes up for a lot of people in Mexico that think Mexico has a beef with a strange enemy called Masiosare. So people joke and blame Masiosare whenever bad things happen. It seems more like an urban myth, but also that people would try to name their kid Masiosare, and to the extent that some cities had to forbid it as a name when you try to register it.
That's funny as hell. I love that.
That's good.
Who is it? It's Joe Bin. Who's Joe Bin, Dad? I don't know who the fuck my dad was talking about. Never met a guy named Joe Bin. But apparently he's up to all sorts of shit. He's a dumbass.
Good shit. We got one coming in from Mute who says, Dear Potato of Light and Thin Paragon Line, when you brought up the topic of Pandora depression and Japanese tourists getting depressed by Paris, I realized something about myself. I never felt missing fictional utopian worlds, but I absolutely feel a longing for dystopian ones. Places like Martinez from Disco Elysium, Roanapur from Black Lagoon, or Town on Gorkon from Pathologic. I fully realized I would die in those places and I don't want to live there, yet I miss those pothole-filled streets and broken people. Maybe it's the stories and the music that got me emotionally attached, or maybe it's just my brain being broken because I live in Eastern Europe. Are there any fictional settings that absolutely blow as a place, but nevertheless you'd want to live there or have some familiar fondness for them?
So, I literally saw a joke about this earlier today as I was scrolling through my timeline. I think it was some stupid The Share Zone thing, and it was like we live in a dystopia, but not a cool one.
Yeah,
we're got the Amazon robot telling us not to piss instead of eating Chinese food in the rain, right? Like Blade Runner kind of thing.
What is a cool dystopian future that would suck to live in, but you kind of have some admiration for it? I have
anything that gives me robot parts on my arms.
So, same answer. The world of Ghost in the Shell amazes and terrifies me. It would be so interesting and so cool, but also so fucking horrifying to cyberbrain yourself and just have your ability to throw on as much or as little robot as you want. I know there's others that go that way. Obviously, Deus Ex is a setting that gets into it with the Hansers. but
Yeah.
the stories told in like standalone complex are, you know, the just like, do you want to be inside a little fucking box like bank thing with a couple of limbs?
Yeah, strap me in.
You want to be a Tachikoma? Like, how
Fuck
bad do you
it.
want to go? Or do you just want to get lost in the internet forever with no body? Um,
It's fascinating depending on what who's writing it, what that entails. So like in Cyberpunk, like the tabletop, the anime, and the game, going full brain in a robot
mm-hmm,
Chrome
mm-hmm.
is like a total one-way trip to psychopathy and murderousness.
But
Meanwhile, Raiden is a robot from his top molars down,
mm-hmm.
and he's doing all justice and shit. And all his damage is from back when he was a fleshy human.
But like in the Ghost in the Shell setting, like if you decide no, fuck all that, I'm a stay human, you can be like Togusa and just have a hard time interfacing with life forever.
Yeah.
Just you are always left out of everything.
Oh, you don't have a credit card? That's weird. I guess we could write up a receipt for you in cash. Just give me a couple minutes.
You're gonna be the guy ordering a Filet-O-Fish at McDonald's for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
Fucking. Okay, we
By
gotta
the way,
defrost it. It'll be 20 minutes. Is that cool?
by the by the way, about the Japanese tourism thing, I spoke to Paige about it as she lived in Japan for quite some time for some context on that, and got a bonus answer as to why it is so damaging to Japanese tourists specifically when they go to Paris
Hmm.
and Green Gables. And the answer is that when Japan advertises a location in Japan to go to, the advertisement is exactly what you're gonna get. When they
Ah.
say come to Kyoto,
Ah.
come to Hiroshima, come to Bunny Island,
The local
it's
stuff
it's
is accurate.
it's dead on truth in advertising because they don't need to dress it up because visiting those places rules.
Yeah.
But when it comes to foreign locations,
Yeah.
it's the postcard.
I see. All right. Let's take one more from Loophole Master Braloon, who says, "Dear
Okay.
Scrublords, Hustler Scam Streamer Edition.
All right, let's do it.
Hope I'm not too late to jump on the Hustler Scam train.
Well,
Direct to
that's
Jackpot
gonna
City.
go for a while. I like that.
A streamer I follow recently made a series of poor decisions regarding hastily made bets that they have come to regret in exchange for profits.
Okay.
The bets concerned the modification of their player character in some lame MMO that would rustle their jimmies for a period of multiple months. After reviewing the footage, though, it did not seem that the streamer ever promised that they would actually play the game outside of planning a stream or two in the future. What I want to know is, if the streamer accepted the monetary donations in exchange for ruining their game, would it be a scam material to simply not play the game, capitalized, until the bet expired? Or is it good enough of a loophole to rise to hustle heaven? Appreciate your time. Never stop making money. From Loophole Master
There's no
Brolin.
loophole here if the person plays the game mandatorily 4 days a week, including 3 hours every Sunday.
How much of that is
And
streamed?
very little.
Okay.
And has a wife that will absolutely blow them apart and snitch on them for funsies if they tried to loophole any of it. When I did that, I made sure to tell Paige to not let me get away with it. I told everyone in my Discord who would love to rat me out for bullshit to not let me get away with it.
So
There's no way I can not get away with it.
if you just stopped playing for a couple months and then showed back up later, I would call that a scam.
Yeah, except I play the game 5 days a week.
Okay. Yes. No. The knowledge of the knowledge of the hard peach snitch is pretty solid. That's good.
There's no. Come on.
That's good.
Come on. If anything, I got scammed. There's
Yes.
no follow up to that.
Scammed all the way to the bank.
Yeah, there's no follow up to that at all.
All right. That'll do it, folks.
Oh, I'm seeing a wild claim in the chat. I don't know if it's true, so we'll just leave it there.
All right.
Never mind.
All right. Leave it there. We'll see you next time, everybody.
Bye.